everyone, and welcome to the LightBringers podcast, episode 11 of season 2. Hope you are well and good, and that you are enjoying the first days of Pride Month awesomeness. I have some amazing guests with us today. We're going to be talking about episode 2 of Living Story, re-release of Awesome. We'll also be talking about the legendary variants, as well as general stuff that we bring up during the podcast, which happens sometimes. And you can see the guests that we have today, which obviously, does happen sometimes. I thought you were going to sneeze. Rick just went like that. I was like, you're right. I'm going to have to mute everyone. Something is just being
No, I was not until that was a fake sneeze. I feel pretty good about that. I felt like it was convincing though. Sorry to everybody's here.
10 out of 10 acting.
Thank you.
It was quality work. Let us know if it is also low volume wise, and I will turn things up because my settings got a little bit obliterated, so let us know if things are a bit pants. Okay, thanks. Oh, if you're listening not live, then you can't do that, obviously. So
please tell us after the fact about everything we should adjust.
Yes.
But if you have feedback for the show other than audio levels, then you are free to do that in the comments below on YouTube or in, the great beyond. I don't know, letters. You can't send them anywhere. I mean, you can actually. I've got PO box. You can send them to. You can send postcards and stuff.
Oh, God,
that's
Jebro.
great.
Old fashioned.
Yeah.
Dear Jebro, episode 51 had a little bit of an audio issue. I'm writing to you.
I only go there like once a month to pick it up. So it's like, I might not get it for a while. I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember that one. I should probably get on that. And it's like 2 years later. Hello indeed. Yes, we have amazing guests. We have Malcolmist, we have Rookery, and we also have Fornax, the Crichton Herald, here as well. It is also Malcolmist's first show as well.
Hi.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you. It's awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my god, wow, look, there's a huge heart being held right now by Fornax.
Welcome.
Is that a new one? Is that a new emoji?
No, you can just see it because I took the desk off.
Oh, okay. Oh, the desk was covering your heart. There's probably something in that.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. You need to change it for this month. It's got to be rainbows. So
Yes.
you got to be rainbows.
Do you have a pride emote?
Fuck.
I was waiting to see you bust out some beautiful rainbow. That's okay. It's all right. We got a whole month.
There we go.
Yeah, that works.
Hey.
I mean, that's pretty. It's getting there. That's pretty close.
That's a declaration. This is my coming out party. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't bring cake. I should have.
Right, you bring cake to those parties?
Where's my toaster? Where is my toaster?
I need more
Oh my
people to come out so I
gosh.
can get cake.
Yes, if ArenaNet was really true allies, anytime one of us came out publicly, they would send us a toaster that had rainbows on it.
Okay, that's
Yes.
fine.
Absolutely.
That works.
ArenaNet, step up that game.
Wow.
But then go retroactively and send it.
Yes, we'll have,
Send us
we'll
all.
all have our public coming out again.
Right?
You know what the
Send me a
sad thing?
toaster.
You know the sad thing about this? I'm going to tell you a very sad story right now. Okay, this is sad.
Oh no.
I have the Guild Wars 2 toaster. I have one.
Okay. All right. Well, we don't need you to brag, Jebros,
No, I got this years ago, but the problem is it's in the UK. I got this years ago, when they had a lot, and they had a lot at their office in England because they make it in Germany, I think. And it's there, but it's there with my Krakatorik, with my Shatterer statue as well.
Oh no.
So back in the day for Guild Wars 2, and I can tell you this now, I don't think it's an NDA thing. I got paid, so as a shoutcaster for ESO, I got paid professionally, but my first ever show I did which was at PAX East, the first big one, I didn't get paid, but they paid me with a Shatterer statue, the Guild Wars 2 shower statue,
cool.
which is like worth hundreds of like dollars, right? And I was just like, this is better. this is actually better. Like, I didn't care because it was a free trip, you know. That's like a standard thing back then. Like, you know, the whole industry and like esports was still like sorting out, how do we pay people? What is this? Is this a thing we should do for free? No, it's not. And like, just saying that, if you're out there, you don't know your worth. But like, I was like, what? There's not many. And that's in the UK as well. Like, all my cool stuff is there.
Oh, that sucks.
I can imagine you like rocking up to try and pay your rent with this thing.
Oh god, no.
They take the statue.
Oh my god.
Kronkatorix.
Yeah. If they were a Guild Wars 2 fan, they probably would have taken it as like part payment, but you know.
I mean, you can't get it anymore, can you? The only ones I know of you can get on, I think, eBay.
Yeah, eBay's got everything. Like, people are just selling their souls on there. The stream is going to send you home for a really short vacation to go get that and then come back. I mean, with fuel costs, like, that flight is going to be expensive, man. And also, I don't know when I'm going to, but I will probably do that. I will bring a big box of stuff back. Unless I stay there. Anyway, let's get on with the podcast and not talk about the fact that I have a shower statue back in the UK, because that's weird now. Malcolmist, it's been 2 weeks, okay? We've not been here for 2 weeks. So I will.
I like how you say that as though that justifies any of this, and it's like, you're like, this isn't normal. It's just been 2 whole weeks, Jebro.
It's true, actually. I guess
we know
so.
the truth here. We know the truth here. I have missed you for 2 weeks. I've missed all of you. Malcolmist, I've missed you my whole life, and I'm really glad that we get to meet now and do this podcast. I've been waiting, you know, so I'm glad to see everyone.
Oh, thank you. It is good to see you as well.
I'm sorry, it's a little bit flicker.
Well, now it's awkward, Jebro. Now it feels weird. I feel weird.
I feel so bad for the people who don't get to actually see this, because they just have no reference or anything. Because I feel like most of the podcast is about facial expressions, and especially with like Fornax as well, like literally, like, you know, emoting. Would host Jebro for like 6 months in return for a shower statue. See, and a toaster. That's a year. Surely it's 6 months each. Okay, so we have Malcolmist. Malcolmist, tell us about yourself. What do you do? Where you do it? And sell yourself. And if you don't, I will.
Yeah, my name is Malcolmist. I'm a Guild Wars 2 streamer, as well as an artist. I'm mainly on Twitch and Twitter, and freelancer. Is
it Malcolmist? Malchemist?
Yes.
That broke. And
did you just
on Twitter
reach your mug over and then drop it straight on the floor?
Oh no, my mug is fine. It's my glasses that broke.
Okay.
That's worse. No, they're crappy glasses. It's okay. Malcolmist is an amazing artist and actually did our emote for Tibble as well, which is very, very awesome. So that's on our channel, as well as does the emotes for like Rava, who's been on here, does their own, does some great, does awesome artwork. So if you need emotes, I will put their contact info as well as their Twitch in the description, because
commissions are open too. So
yeah, there you go. Please support our friends who do a lot of work, and they come on here, and I don't pay them other than in sarcasm and rudeness. So
I'm sorry. I was under the assumption that I was getting a Shatterer statue for doing this.
I thought I was gonna get a toaster.
What does Fornax get? You can get this. You can get the little squashy.
Oh yes, I love that thing.
Like,
I have mine somewhere.
Fornax is getting the short end of the deal on that. I'm sure it was sick.
Are you not beneficent? Yes. Yeah, I get to stay up late on a Friday night.
It's a quagga.
But if you compare the raw value of a toaster or a Kralkatorix statue to a stress squeegee quagga.
There's like people like just in a line, and you just give them all this stuff, and they're like, have the sacred quaggan. It's very important.
Yeah, I got an even better.
Oh god.
Wait. Oh, nice. Okay. that's cool. Is that off it?
This one's made by Angel Rider. She knits little quaggins.
You've got that one as well. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've got 2 of them, but this is the one that was closest to me.
Yeah, Rick's got the ones as well. Look at that. Oh,
this one, I have to say, I have to take a second. This one's really special because at the Icebird Saga release event, the announcement event that I got to hang out with you at, Jeb.
Yeah.
Actually, Obi bought this for me and gave it.
Oh, that's cute.
So,
that's adorable.
I hate Obi.
I really want to go to PAX one day.
I think I'm getting volunteered to go and collect your toaster for you right now in the chat.
Oh yeah, you could do that actually.
Do it.
I have to be honest, ArenaNet have sent me quite a few things, and I have put 0 of them up in my house because just no. Is that mean?
What do you mean just no?
Just no?
What did they send you?
No.
Why? Because you think they're ugly? Because you don't put game stuff in your house? Because
it's just I don't like neon. They've sent me like neon stuff and things like that, and I'm like, nah.
Is that Arena there, or is that someone else?
Yeah, they sent me an etched glass.
The year anniversary things.
Sword thing,
Yeah. That. Well, you don't have to put that up. You just put it in the corner.
I love that Harold's like, they sent me this special thing for being a partner for a year, and it's garbage. It's a piece of garbage. So I don't.
Look,
oh no. Let me wait. I'll get it.
So if you want it, let me know in the chat.
I will take it. Don't give it to chat. They still haven't sent me a 1 year one. I'll put it right on my shelves.
Okay. I can do that. Look, I bought the collector's edition of Guild Wars when it launched, and Ritlock is in the garden. He's like guarding the garden. He's like outside. So
oh my god.
I've got an R2D2 and some like proper like expensive statue type stuff from pop culture. I'm just a fussy bitch. It was the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah, my Ritlock is like right behind me. I don't know if you guys can see him.
I can't get mine. I'm sorry.
He's so nice. I don't have the Ritlock, and I'm so sad.
Aww.
I came into the game after that was a whole thing. So
I might have spare ones.
I just have my. Well, I would feel awkward messaging like, "Hey."
No, don't feel awkward about that.
You want to give me a Ritlock?
I've done that with companies before. I've actually done that. I've been like, with Elder Scrolls partnership on the stream team. I was like, do you have any like artwork that you give for streamers and stuff? They're like, yeah, what do you want? I was like, what? Yes.
That's awesome.
I've got like 4 posts over there framed and they look amazing.
My God,
okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah, of course. If you do not ask in this world, you do not get. That is the way it is.
No, God, Jesus. I spend 50% of my time apologizing for existing. Jesus God.
Oh, I do that as well. But like sometimes you just got to put yourself out there. Okay, anyway, let's start the podcast again. Sorry. Malcolmist, please go and check them out. Awesome. Rookery, next. Tell yourself, do the things. Hello, how are you? No one knows who you are because you've never been there before. So,
hi everybody. It's my first time ever on the LightBringers podcast, and I'm very nervous. And I don't have a Ritlock statue, so I feel like I didn't have the secret cool person club item that was required for me to be here. So I'm so sorry that I'm here with you today. I apologize, but I hope I'm good enough. And you can find me on Twitch and YouTube at Rookery, which is ROOKURI. You can also find me on Twitter, Rookery_, until I can pry just straight Rookery out of Twitter's hands. So yes, that's where I'm at. I play a lot of different MMOs. You all probably know this, but mostly Final Fantasy XIV and Guild Wars 2. And I do content for them and really just love talking about all the different facets of this game, from role-playing to endgame content, that make it so wonderful and so great. So wherever I'm at, you'll usually find me doing that.
Sweet home Alabama. Yes, please go and follow our friend Rookery. Rookery is awesome and is funny as hell, has an awesome community. Please go and check them out, otherwise I will find you and I will send you links. Yeah, I was trying to do the whole taken thing, but it's not going to work. I need to change that. And also, same with Malcolmist as well. Community is awesome. I'll try and hang out. I lurk in people's streams a lot of the time. I do say hello and I talk for a little bit, but I don't like to talk too much. I like to lurk and just watch the streamer and be a viewer. So I do hang out in everyone's streams and watch their videos and stuff, but they will never know. Unless I sub sometimes when I can. Okay.
Secret lurker.
Yay! Secret lurking is true. And last but certainly not least, because Fornax is definitely present. The Quiet who's amazing, and I enjoy having you here very much. Tell us all the things and what you do, where you do it.
I do stuff on YouTube. Yep, I make videos on YouTube. That's it. Brighton Herald, anywhere, type it in, you'll find the stuff that I do. Hello, I'm here. Let's crack on, shall we?
Are you playing with a pen? Is that what you're doing currently?
Oh shit, yes. Look, I am like on the fucking ball this evening. I have like a notepad. I am ready to go down and get down with this shit tonight. Honestly.
You have a notepad?
I do, right in front of me.
What are
right
you
on the
writing
desk.
down?
Notes for the stream so that I can be engaged like a proper little podcaster. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah, I have that too.
That is a very small pad.
There's a lot of them. So
There is a lot. That's true.
got a lot of sticky notes I can put out
make
here.
an entire sheet of paper. Sticky notes are the dream, actually.
Here, let me bring up the Google Docs real quick.
Well, normally I have a document, but I actually don't have one this time because I played the episode last night.
I've got visual proof. I have proof on my Twitter that I just tweeted out my stream setup, and there's a notepad in front of the keyboard where I press to make all the funny emojis happen. Okay, so.
Oh wow! Look at your stream setup.
let me see this.
This
Oh my
is
god!
godlike.
What?
This is
This
amazing.
is beautiful.
This looks like
Yeah.
you're in flipping Africa or something. Like, what the hell?
Oh wow.
I told you, I live in the jungle. No, I like plants. I'm a druid. I'm a secret.
But look at the light in the
closet.
box and the soft light and the monitor and the wow. You've used a keyboard as your trigger.
It's a MIDI, so because of the nature of the program and the fixation with Windows, you have to use like a MIDI deck to do it, to do the triggers so that I can have other things running. And I can do the whole things like this. So,
That's
yeah.
amazing. That is
Yeah, that's super cool.
really awesome setup, actually, honestly. You do have a book. That is true.
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
good on you. That is a really nice. Yeah, that is great. Wow. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I'm super jealous right now. I live in Seattle. It's great here. It's very great. Okay, so we're going to talk about episode 1. So first of all, this came out not this past Tuesday, and please go and follow Fornax, aka the Brighton Herald, aka
only if
legendary.
You want to. It's fine. Carry on.
And you should
Room
want
sound.
to. So
You should.
Yes.
They did great work. Great art, great videos, lots of good stuff. I really like, I like listening to the lore stuff. The lore stuff is great, as well as the fashion stuff. I'm not going to lie. The fashion stuff, I do enjoy very much. When those new ones come out, I'm there. I don't know if I've watched the latest one though. Or what the latest one is. Actually, I might watch it now. Although I should do the podcast. Okay, let's go. So, episode. First of all, like it's been very interesting replaying these because it brings up a lot of memories from back when. So first of all, I'm question to Malcolmist actually is did you play Guild Wars 2 from launch?
Yes, I was part of the beta events.
Okay.
So ever since the beginning.
I didn't ask because I actually forgot to ask because I was like, do I? Oh look, there's Rookery's channel. Actually, hopefully, maybe that'll work. Ooh, let me see. I can get some gameplay going. So obviously, we know Rook started later, so it's going to be really interesting to see what you think specifically because there were so big big parts in this episode, I completely forgot about everything. And I was just like, what? We're here? Oh yeah, this is a fractal. And I was like, doing my video, I was like, what is happening? And then I was like, excusing myself. I was like, this is like 9 years ago, man. What do you want me to do? I started talking to myself in my video, making excuses for why I didn't know where things were. And I was trying to find things. And I was just like, oh, what is happening?
I am genuinely so happy to hear you say that, because we got into that instance in the end, and I've done the fractals.
Same.
And even I was like, is this new? And everybody's like, no, Rick, it's literally the fractal. They just put both the fractals together. And I was like, look at the bow. Yeah. I just think it goes to show that having the context around this episode 2, having the context around the events that were happening, why you're even there, what the Aetherblade hideout is, how those two portions that were then like translated to fractals, how they connected into something. Because honestly, when I had played through the fractal independently before, I had never really picked up on the pirate element of it, because there's that fight at the end of it with all of the Asura and the Inquest. So to me, I always thought of that fractal as, oh yeah, that one with the Inquest. I didn't realize that it was actually a huge part of the Aetherblade hideout. And the first time that like I played through it, I didn't really have the understanding of the connections between all these different factions and how Scarlet was bringing them together to work towards a goal. So for me, just playing it cold the very first time without anything else doing fractals, I was like, oh, there's things called Aether Blades. Cool, whatever. I guess we're in a cave. Oh, the Inquest. Like, you know?
There's a lot of emotions in one go, actually.
Yeah.
In one go. I actually kind of want to see, I'm actually getting the video keyed up. It's lagging a bit, but I want to see a reaction when you hit LA for the first time, or old LA. Not the first time, because I'm pretty sure you've done the story before. But I'm going to just pause it so we can talk first, because I want the reaction. Because even my reaction to going back there is like, oh my god, Dragon Bash, because it was different. So I've just kind of gone right into it. So basically, if you are listening or watching, there is major spoilers if you've not played this episode. So it's season 1, episode 2. That is what we're talking about. And it's basically called The Living World Return 2. And they're being re-released. There's 5 episodes total, right? Something like that. I think it's 5.
I think so.
Something like that. And
yeah, you're about right. Yeah.
Yeah. And this, we're going back to old Lion's Arch, and obviously, even people who haven't played the story before, probably, maybe, and even just walked around Lion's Arch, there's little bits that you can see that you couldn't see before, which is very cool. And I was literally trying to break the game. After last night, I went back and I was like trying to get into the bank and stuff, and back to where the forge was and everything. I was like, yeah, this is so cool, because I miss it. And then I started talking in the episode, and I was like, they should just bring it back. I was talking to myself so much. I was like, they should really bring this back. Like, I want to see it. Like, what do you all think about going back to Lion's Arch? Like, with you, Rucker, specifically, like with your experience of the little bits you've seen of like the old Lion's Arch. Do you like the design that was there? I'm very interested in that. I know it's relevant, I think. Yeah. Sure.
Yes. No, I mean, I honestly do. It's funny because I'd only ever seen the little snippets from the story instance, right? And in those moments, I was like, oh, it seems kind of ramshackle and sort of piratey, and that was fine. I in the same kind of, I guess, way, because I just kind of accepted it and rolled with it because I didn't know anything else, right? I was like, I can see why I guess they would want to like build up a more polished Lion's Arch and something that shows like more I guess advancement of development and things like that. But now going back in this episode, I have to say, even getting like this slightly different perspective, being able to see a little bit more, I had never really looked at the map when I had been in those old story instances. So even just like looking at the map, they have like the old Lion's Arch map up when you are in that version, and you can pull it up. And so I was looking at all of that, and I have to say that like coming back to it now, having played through the game, having started to dive into the lore, having, you know, really started to break down a lot of different maps and all sorts of things, I do like Old Lion's Arch better. And I think the reason for that...
That was a good answer. That was the correct answer, sorry.
I knew there was no other option for me, and I had to say this.
No, so... if you did that, I'd totally get it. Totally.
No, but I think it shows more detail and layering of lore, culture, the people who live there. It feels like it directly reflects and communicates the story, which Guild Wars 2 does so well when it's like peak form with its maps. I mean, you should be able to, just by looking at a zone, get a sense of the people, the place, the time, the entities, and I feel like as I was going around that zone, more and more I was able to go like, oh, maybe it's because like these, you know, pirate fleets, or like all these people were on ships and then some of them crashed here, or they like, you know, like pushed them up onto the shore and then they were able to kind of piece them together. And I wonder if any of this had to do with like Zhaitan and the Great Flood and all this stuff. And that to me communicated far more of a story. And like even all the little details in like for Dragon's Bash, they have, you know, like the little dragon shaped sconces and all these different things that when I was thinking now about Lion's Arch, I just don't know if we see the same story. We do in some areas. There's like the memorial to the destruction of Lion's Arch. Yeah. There are little areas that have stuff like that. There's that little row of buildings that's kind of homey, and you know, there's stuff in there, and residences, you would assume. But it just doesn't feel as evocative of history and the people and culture that live there, I guess.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
That's true. Lion's Arch does feel like everyone crashed there. The old one. It feels like everyone, from the air, from the sea, from under the water as well. It just feels like everyone kind of crashed there, and they just were like, wow, if everyone's going to crash here, we might as well make this literally like the pad where everyone comes to hang out. We'll turn ships upside down and make the best of it.
There was a whole subterranean area as well in there. So there's a subterranean area, and it has so much more personality, so much more character. It feels lived in rather than, you know, homogenized, churned out concrete nightmare that we have now. Sorry, internet, really.
Waterworld. Not Waterworld, because Waterworld was more rustic. But like, you know, Disney World with big shrimp things.
With giant crabs. What I would like is an NPC that you can talk to. And you can either be in Old Lion's Arch or New Lion's Arch, and it's your choice.
That'd be cool.
I would like that.
It would be cool.
I'm not getting that.
It would be work, That's a lot of work.
Well, I do want to bring up one thing, because actually somebody from my community, Kasu, who I know is around in many
terrible person.
communities, another terrible person. Kasu had a thought, because we are getting some sort of collection item from each of these episodes. And there was the thought that possibly at the end, there could be an item that was unlocked that was like a teleport to Old Lion's Arch kind of item, because they're called like memories of the lion or something, or like it has some sort of reference in the collection to like lions and leonine imagery. So I think that would be awesome. And I've even heard some people, like we were theorizing about this the day that I played it on stream first, that if they were looking for a way to create a hub that could implement some of these new player things that we've seen with like Zhaitan, right? Where we had that little new player training hub and all this stuff. If they had an old version of Lion's Arch that they brought back at the end of this series, and new players playing through the game would be in that up until the point where it gets destroyed narratively, and they would have like built into it that new training hub. They could even have information and additional information about other types of content that have been developed in the game. You would get that first strike mission. You would have like, they could do this without having to go in and like overhaul all sorts of other parts of the game if they are developing a map for this season, and that map would be this, and it could be such a good gateway point from like that transition through into Heart of Thorns and Masteries and everything else that the game would evolve into. So I hope they do. I don't know if they will, because I don't know, but it'd be amazing.
Yeah,
That'd get
I agree.
I mean, I would like them to
cool.
put the old world maps, especially the ones where the Aether Blade. So when you didn't play the first season, right? You weren't, right? So there was just wave after wave after wave of content hitting us. It was actually quite exhausting just playing it. So God knows how they felt making it. I got burnt out to a frazzle trying to keep up. But the open world maps in the Shiver Peaks were constantly being attacked by fleets of Aether Blades. And I don't know why they don't have that on the maps now. I think that they should just be if they want to have maps stuck in a season or maps stuck in a story point, at least have something happening and at least give players a reason, or max level players a reason to go back into the old maps and having these dynamic events, and maybe stick a collection and achievements and titles and all sorts of McGubbins behind it to keep people coming back. That would be my...
They could even do it to the maps. Yeah, they could also do it to the maps that are affected still, like Keswick's Hills, like the big tower.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. Hell yeah. I love that. Like, that's a really good point. Yeah. I mean, Malcolm, how did you feel about going back, like, to Lion's Arch as well? What's your kind of opinion? We've kind of had a little bit.
It was a lot of nostalgia for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like it was more nostalgia than anything, because I remember... In fact, I think it was the day that the second episode came out, and we were going through the story instance, and it was like, I remember going through and going like on the bridges and stuff and watching the waves crash against the rock, which is really cool. I just remember back in the day thinking, oh my god, this is so cool. This is actually making me feel like I'm a pirate, or like I'm in a shipwreck cove or something like that. And it made me feel like the story was part of the visual, like the visuals were part of the narrative, and it really set the story really well. And I feel like with season 1, like we don't get everything that we experienced back from 2012, 2013, because most of it was updated almost every week or every month, and it was all just so rapid fire that we always had something to do, but at the same time, like, we never got to do it again. So that was kind of like the biggest gripe I feel like everyone pretty much had, was that you couldn't go back and redo it. But at the same time, it also gave us a very interesting experience, because we all got to experience something live and something that changed the atmosphere as it was happening, and it was permanent. Like you would go back to Lion's Arch and everything was still on fire. Or like in other games, it would just go back to what it was normally. But in this game, it was still on fire. So
yeah, it was. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I feel like it was really good. But at the same time, I feel like I really wish they could have some way of bringing that feeling back. But I know that's also really hard, because it was also like spur of the moment happening as it was going. So it's definitely difficult. So yeah, it's definitely nostalgic.
Nice. Oh, what do you say? Or I'm not sure. Someone.
Oh, I was gonna say, I feel like they've tried to make some efforts towards that, right? Like, so in this episode, we did have the map that you go back to, and they've put in some of those Aether Blade commanders and things that pop up.
Yeah.
So I do feel like they're trying to kind of put it in, but I also totally understand that, you know, I mean, as of right now, this content and the story content, right? It's just kind of, we are retouching on old stuff, right? And so unless they wanted to completely overhaul, you know, and add all these new layers to all these new maps and stuff like that, or all these old maps, I guess, technically, I can understand why they're focusing more on like, hey, all right, well, let's get the meat of the story out, and then we'll do a little something on these different maps to bring back at least a touch of what happened in season 1 with some of those spontaneous events. And then, you know, not developing a ton of other stuff around that is like future content, repeatable, I log in and I'd be doing this every single day kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling that we'll see more of that sort of design mentality with the actual Next Living season, like as opposed to this one that's kind of the revisit. But I also totally agree, Fornax, in that it would be nice to revitalize and give, some additional new reasons to go visit those old maps, especially as we look at Steam release. And we have hopefully a bunch of new players coming into the game. it would be really nice to have something, even maybe just at the culmination of this season, or something that pops up on maps that would give old players additional incentive to go back and be roaming the world for players to see.
I agree.
I mean, so it's a thing like the Karka invasion of Lion's Arch, right? That's vital to Kanak and Kanak's storyline and how he's introduced to the story. And I feel
they're not doing that though, are they? They're just going to have that reflection.
They've changed it. Well, we don't know. They did say in an interview that they would be rewriting the introduction for those characters. So
okay.
How they're going to tie him in, I'm not sure. I was wondering, even in my playthrough, I was like, are they going to make him E? Are they going to, like, make him be involved with something, else? Is there going to be some crime or something that he's involved with in the city? But it would have to have that, like, rebel with a heart of gold kind of thing. Like, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to introduce him, but they did say that...
They should just walk into his nightclub. Somewhere else. Like, he's just got a nightclub in, like, I don't know, Caledon Forest or something. Where all the Savari are born.
He is a complete pimp, isn't he?
Yeah, he could just be there, like, dancing, and he comes out and he's just got, like, the legendary mace, and he's got the disco ball and stuff. Yeah, it would work. I think that would work. Yes. That's canon now. We're there.
So Kanak's story is so, like, deeply rooted into the lore. He's right there. He's the second born. He's captured at the lab. His physicality changes. His internal trauma is displayed in his external. I think that would be a fantastic, like, if they wanted to do like a side story where you follow Kanak from inception to now, to see the evolution of this character.
Inception? Sounds like a different kind of show to me. I mean, I'm sure many people would be up for that, and that's fine. Continue. Sorry.
No. So it's. I mean, we had Mental Health Month, and it's such a interesting story of a person dealing with personal trauma and coming out the other end of it, and it's also about accepting who he is. Fundamentally, he is a lovable rogue. He has a darker side. He embraces it and he controls it because he's embraced it, right?
Yeah.
He had all these darker impulses and a lot of fuck you in him after the shit that happened to him. And people do that, don't they? They want to see the world burn because they've been hurt. And it takes a lot to kind of get back to, no, I want to make the world a better place, and I want to make some money.
Yeah,
that's my thought.
True.
Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I think the rewriting would be good. It does need to be done. I don't know. They've got the pool thing where you go and see him, and like they've got a little bit. So I'm like, they're going to take that out. It seems a bit weird. I don't know, but
it's they can't get past the fact that there is no connective tissue.
Yeah.
So we had breadcrumbs leading us in. We had things happening in the world. If you think about like when Jormag was rising, and we had those shamans coming, and they were talking, and there was kind of like, it grabbed your attention and it led you into the story with breadcrumbs. And because there are no breadcrumbs, because there's nothing happening necessarily in the world that players can like latch onto, especially new players, it's just a bit like, I've got this random letter from somebody that I don't know who it is, and now we're going to hear. And they're doing the best with a situation where they're having to retcon, but it's never going to be the same experience. You can't replicate it.
No, I mean, I like that. I mean, it is Dragon Bash though. It's post like main story, right? So Dragon Bash, End of One Dragon, Dragon Bash. So that makes sense. So I think with the first 2 episodes, that's okay. But now they kind of have to wait. I think that's the one thing for me where I'm like, they kind of still have to wait. And now we've got this latest expansion. It's still like, there is time. I think is it one episode a month at the moment? I think. It's not too bad.
I think that's what we've been roughly getting, yeah.
Okay, so it's not too bad. And there is a lot in the game to do. So I think a lot of this, even with new players coming in now, it's going to be... I think what Rook said is pretty key to remember. This feels like it's going to be leading up to the Steam release, right? Like they can't launch on Steam until this is done. Like it just needs to be done. It really does. And even if it's just going to be like the episode comes out the week like of that release. Like even if that was a thing, like that would have to be a thing. And
like fundamentally, all of the weird holes that I felt in the story have already started to be filled. As a player that never played Living Season 1, like I could not believe the difference that just episode 1 and 2 made. Having any idea of how I met any of these people and where they started as a character, I am so curious if new players coming into the game are going to, after playing through Living Season 1 in all of this, even have a more favorable opinion of Bram than much of the rest of our community. Granted, he got his rough times, but, you know, I have to say that even I have done massive reevaluating of him as a character.
We saw you do that here.
I know. I mean, I got emotional about that dumb idiot potato man. I got really, really emotional about him. It's because his head looks like a potato. That's why I call him that during his awkward, bald, shaved face. He did not pull it off well.
Look, he was very round. Like, he looks like
pull
a circle.
It off.
Thank you.
Other people pull it off. The undercut, Malcolm is pulling it off. Graham did not pull it off.
No,
it was awkward on his head.
His head was very round.
Yeah, agreed.
It just didn't look good on him. But that was the least of his problems, to be honest. So, like,
that's what happens when you get angry, Rook. Okay, you shave your head.
I know.
I'm just angry all the time.
I mean, look, you have to have your dramatic, character arc. Like, I'm in my wandering phase and I cut my hair dramatically moment, like Mulan, like Zuko, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, it's a whole thing. You know,
makes sense.
But I have to say that even seeing that, even actually seeing just Jory and Kaz, I was so excited because I had no idea. In End of Dragons, I mean, I knew this because I had to research it for stuff like the story summaries, but from everything that I had played in the game, minus some of the mentions, I had no idea who in the hell Jory was. Like, I was like, oh, she's Kaz's girlfriend.
That's all I know.
And she's a necromancer. And then in End of Dragon, she's like, I had a detective agency. And I was like, what?
Yeah. That's when I remembered. Like, I completely forgot. And when we went back to the pub, like in this, I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. This is where it all started. And then I was like, oh yeah. And then I was like, oh, Ellen. And then I was like, oh yeah, the voting and Evan Nash. Oh, here we go. And then should I tell you what?
The election again.
Well, they will.
Please,
it's going to be part of it for sure. Absolutely.
I hope so.
I mean, the thing is, they won't have the live event, right? I mean, we're not going to spoil it for people, but they won't do the live event because they can't, because it's already decided. But that was a really great initiative. We have talked about it while we're explaining here, so they're not completely devoid of what we're talking about. So basically, if you don't know what happened in season 1, there was a vote. It was mayor. Was it mayor or was it? I can't remember, whatever they called it. I can't remember what it was called. Maybe
it was basically the leader
of like Lion's Arch, right?
It's the commander of the ship's council? The captain of the ship's council?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Something
Captain's
like that.
Council. Thank you.
Captain's Council.
And I was always just like mayor. I don't know why. But like you could basically vote for Evan Nashblade or Thingamajig in the story, in the episode we just played. And you would get different, there was fractals based on it. There was also different rewards. There was like waypoint costs reduced or repair costs completely cut or reduced or something like that at the time. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, and you could walk around and you'd get these little coins and you could vote, but then you'd get these little items and you could run around and literally when you double click this coin, you would have like the representative pop up on the right or left hand side. You'd have like Ellen Kill or like Evan Nashblade, like either on one of your sides, like, and you would just have this little image of them. It was just, I've still got those coins. I've got like 70 left.
Also flags, wasn't there? Little banners you got?
Yeah. There were banners. There were loads of little bits and pieces. So it was very cool, but it was a different time, and it was a time where I think Guild Wars 2 had a really unique, good idea that just wasn't sustainable. It was so good though, and I'm really up for that again. Bring it back.
Yes, I mean, I honestly feel like they could do something like that. If they said, like during the release window of this new episode or something, there will be a choice, active players are able to take part in it, like the choice will be made at the end of this episode. And then if they had kind of like laid the, pipeline to then, I mean, because the thing is that some of these choices wouldn't even have to necessarily massively affect the actual cinematics or cutscenes or things that they would be working on in advance, right? Like, so having more choices like this, even in a living season during that free release window or something, where people could log in and then do this, and then the story would be set like that because of the choices the players made at the time, and people could experience it coming through it again. I think they could bring some of that back, obviously not to the degree Living Season 1 had, but in a way that would still give us little things here or there during Living Season.
Yeah, none of the cutscenes relating to these two characters and their battle had any referenced anything to do with the outside choices that players had, so they could retcon anything they wanted into that if they wanted to.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting. Let's talk about the episode itself. I'm just watching Rook play it right now. I'm going to go back to your reaction. You had a sparkly face, I think. I'm going to call it your sparkly face. I did talk about you in my video when I was doing this. Pardon me. I was like, I thought about you a lot when I went to the pub, and I was like, oh, Rooker's going to know about this. Like, this is good. I wonder what they thought when they went to the pub. And I was like, oh, this is really sweet. This is really nice. It was pretty cool. It is the Crown Herald, yes. And Fornax, sorry. And it was just one of these, it was just all these little moments kind of in a row, like consistently, because it wasn't just going to Lion's Arch, you were going to Bloodtide Coast. Like Bloodtide Coast was a big part of this. You went to a lot of that map, which was pretty cool. And actually remembering as well in Lion's Arch, like we were talking about, the Aether Bay base was in Lion's Arch, and I completely forgot. Like, I completely forgot it was there. I was like, oh yes, in Bloodtide Coast. I can't believe it. Oh, now I remember. Oh no, I'm wrong. It wasn't there. It wasn't there at all. It's in Lion's Arch. How do I even like forget about this? But this is the thing about this Lion's Arch specifically. Like, this is the Lion's Arch of Dragon's Bash. Like, we're watching the video. I'm just watching Rook's footage because I can actually not get lag now, which is good. And this is when Dragon Bash happens. So in the middle, you've got like the kind of Asura dragon thing, which wasn't there because it was lions, obviously, because it was Lion's Arch. And you've got the, like, you know, the look at the background, like they've got the flipping Asura gates and stuff, and I'm just like, oh, I miss this so much. Oh shit, I've gone so far. There you go.
So many memories.
It was so nostalgic. So when I first started playing, I came over to Guild Wars with my role-playing guild from SWTOR, and we were in the the Red Lion Syndicate. And I remember there's like several bridges, several ships stuck together, and you had to go across them, and it had made a bridge. And I remember going around with my friends, getting like the vistas and the points of interest, and it was just it was so nostalgic that I really, because I played the story before, and I apparently have a better memory than you, dude. Holy crap! Anyway, and
when it comes to my clients, like, I can remember like the most random thing they will tell me, but if anything else, I'm just done. Like, I can't remember it. I don't know why. It's weird. It's just. But
yeah, I was just looking out at the city, and I was like, oh my god, I miss this so much. It felt like coming home, like, you know, like visiting your parents' house or something, and it feels that place where you go home in your dreams. I don't know. Am I talking?
No.
Anyway,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I can see it being enacted in Rook's video. Like, the person you're playing with is like, wow. Did they play it originally, or are they just like investigating the place? Because it looks like they're trying to like get out of the map and stuff. And absolutely, like, is that how you felt as well, Malcolmus? Do you think, can you relate to what Harold's saying? There's like,
it's like a lot of nostalgia for sure. I remember going through all like the memories I had, and there was one in particular where we always had the AFK spot right in front of the bank.
Yes.
In front of like the gigantic vault. Yeah, and we always AFK there, and there's a gigantic like group of people. And I remember constantly throwing like dance parties in front of that bank.
Yes.
And we would do like huge dance lines, and then we would all do like I even remember making like YouTube videos back in the day for it. It was so funny. In fact, I could probably bring one up. but it's just a lot of nostalgia, and I feel like it's like almost like going home to like your hometown that you haven't seen in forever. There's a whole bunch of new buildings, a whole bunch of new like development, but you still know that it's still like your old home. Yeah. So it definitely was nostalgic for sure.
The first video that I ever made as a content creator, I made about the fall of Lion's Arch.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. First video.
I have a video of Fight for LA. Is it Fight for LA? I can't remember what it was called back then. And it was, I think that was one of my first PvE videos, because it was just PvP videos all the time. But what was it? What was it you did? Was it like, when you say the fall, I'm not giving away too much, but like, what was it like
It was, so I'd played through the story, and it was when the city was in absolute ruins after the incident, shall we say? Yeah. And because there were the stacks, like there was, for so long there were like massive memorial boards and people mourning and people burying, and it was a full proper like role-playing moment in the story, and it went on for ages, and as parts of the city were rebuilt and changing, and then you had this like grand reopening, and everyone went, oh god, this is what they built, because it was the consortium and they're evil. Yeah.
My god, you've just made me go and check my YouTube channel, and I've got an entire Old Lion's Arch tour. Which is an hour long. It's an hour long.
Oh man.
What?
The historical archives.
Right?
No, I think this is because we knew it was going to get wrecked, and they were like, go and enjoy it now. Is that... Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's epic. I can't believe I actually did that. It was like Old Lion's Arch random question and answers. What the fuck was I doing back then? What was going on? Oh yeah, because I did everything, like the pirate jump puzzle we did the other last episode. Like, because that's not changed. That's not new. That's been there since the beginning. And Malcolm, sorry, we did an episode where we took people, we went to our favorite places in the game because of the 50th episode, and one of my places was the jump puzzle in Lion's Arch, which has got the pirate themed stuff in it. The jump puzzle, I don't know if you've done it. It's got the pirate vendor at the end. It's very cool. It's one of my favorite places. Yeah. Awesome. Anyway, that has not changed. Damn, I need to watch that later. But anyway, I'm gonna get back to the episode. Damn, there's so many good things. It really does, and there's some characters in here that are just one of my favorite characters in this episode was easily, what's his name, the Norn guy, the big tall guy.
The pirate guy. That's like
Magnus.
What's it? It's Magnus. Yeah, because he is the announcer. In one of the announcers in PvP, he also does a ton of the voices in the game. Like like general, like, you know, the guy in Elder Scrolls Skyrim who does all the voices. I feel like he's the guy for Guild Wars too. Like, he does a lot. Not the human voice, but he does a lot of the. I think he does a lot of the Char and the Norn. But yeah, I think he does the Dragon Bash announcer noises and stuff as well. But like, he's one cheeky mofo, especially in the beginning, and there's like some innuendo in there, and I was just like, oh man, I feel like, I don't know if they were ever, I feel like they're still cheeky sometimes, and they're very like underhanded with their humor as well. It feels very Simpsons like a lot of the time sometimes. But yeah,
Magnus
I just enjoy them.
Total player.
Yes, he is damn awesome. Where is it? This line.
This moment and like him announcing everything and this kickoff to Dragon Bash, what was so funny is that, I mean, I've been playing the game now for years, and theoretically I get that Dragon Bash has been about, oh, we killed the dragons, yay! So like now we can celebrate. But I was surprised when they first announced this, because I was like, oh, I mean, I guess because my Trin did the assassination at that seasonal event, that it would be important to show that. But it didn't actually really dawn on me until I was playing it that it was doubly important to actually show the impact of your actions in Tyria. And the fact that, like, Dragon Bash, the festival that we now celebrate every year in its modern iteration as we know it, came from our actions in this world was just so cool, because I hadn't really thought about, like, wow, we accomplished this thing that people truly genuinely thought was impossible. Like, so many of the people of Tyria thought, well, if they ever wake up again, I guess we're just gonna have to deal with the fact that probably we'll all die because we don't think they're killable. Like, we have a lot of theories and we have a lot of groups that are trying to work towards this eventuality, but we don't have a way we know of to kill them. So the fact that Zhaitan is killed at the end of the core game is this monumental thing that has these massive far-reaching implications. And I think you actually get a sense of that having this festival and seeing that people, like, across, you know, everywhere, and eventually, you know, it moves to Holbrook and things like that, but that it was so monumental that literally a holiday was made in our modern world because of it. And I really liked that, and I really enjoyed seeing it here. Like, I know that technically there are other connections to, like, dragon festivals and Cantha and other things like that too, but at least this modern iteration of Dragon Bash as we know it feels very much like it's rooted in the actual history and story of the game. So
I was just going to neckbeard. I was going to say, it's a Cantha thing. Well, they were celebrating the dragons because the only dragons that they were neckbeard. I was going to do my nerd alert thing, so they celebrated the dragons because the only ones they'd ever really run into was people like Kunavang. So they were positive influences on their lives, because they're most of the dragons that we encounter, they should be good, right? So it's a bastardization of that. It's a bastardization of that after we've killed the Zhaitan. So you're right. Yeah.
One of the things, this is I guess a kind of interesting little note. When I had been working on my story recap for the pre-show, I had researched a lot of the stuff with Canthan and the Cantha Dragon Festival and the Celestial Dragons and the Ascendancy with Emperors and how all of that kind of played in. And I was like, oh, so then they kind of drew upon that in here. And it was one of the few things that, this is me thinking, am I allowed to say? I think I am. I don't think it's a problem. I don't think. But I ended up having to change that, interestingly enough, to sort of delineate them as two semi-separate things. That's all I'll say about it. But in talking about it, because as far as we knew, in lore and across the board, there had seemed to be a really strong connection with that. But I think there is also something, to be said about how the modern era affected what we know as Dragon Bash, and, like, specifically how the response to this moment in time caused it in at least Tyria, as far as we know. So it's interesting.
I feel like it also kind of represents the actual world too, because, like, I talked to a lot of people across the world, and, like, while something might be bad in, like, let's say the US, other people that are across the world may not even know about it or even think about it in a bad way. So it's like, I guess it's kind of like the same way where one part of the world thinks that dragons are good and they're amazing, and then the other part of the world, who is actually being destroyed by it, have a different opinion on it. So it's kind of an interesting take on the actual, like, world and interaction between each other. So
yeah, that's very true. It feels like in Tyria it's very much like a celebration, like, in specifically, which is, I was like, I felt bad for him. Especially, like, imagine if Aurane is like, there's like this festival, and I wonder how they feel about it. I do wonder that at times. I'm like, over the years, I've been like, there's like a festival where we celebrate, like, you know, destroying your brothers and sisters and now your mom.
Yeah. Particularly haunting if you've listened to Suwon's bonus dialogue after the final fate or the final meta, And now I'm just imagining like a bunch of children gathered around like a Primordius pinata, whacking every living daylights out of it while Suwan's words echo in my head.
It's pretty disturbing, right? It's like, I mean, maybe we should, change this a bit.
I mean, okay, to be fair though,
the other dragons were naughty, so it's fine.
Well, no, but Malcolmist, as you pointed out, I actually think it's a pretty true reflection of our world. I mean, think about how many really bizarre or terrible things in history are distilled into these gimmicky festivals or holidays or celebrations, and like how over time the way that those are celebrated can become so far removed from the actuality of like perhaps the experience of people involved. So in many ways, I mean, I think Guild Wars 2 does this all the time, where they're very tongue-in-cheek, and there's a lot of stuff that's a little bit jokey, a little bit funny, like, ha ha ha, isn't this hilarious? They made all the dragons into piñatas, and people set effigies on fire, like, and so, it's kind of funny, because it's like, it's a commentary about our world, but then when you think deeper about it, you're like, oh, it's a commentary about our world.
Yeah.
I think they also do that, too, with a lot of other story points, too, like, you can kind of correlate what's going on in the game with what's going on in real life. There's like a lot of different connections you can make, and especially with Icebrood Saga, with what was going on with the US back then, it was definitely connected in a way. But it's really interesting how they do that.
Honestly, I wish I didn't connect with the story so much, because I would love to live in a world where there isn't an existential threat looming over the horizon ready to like eat us alive, and there's basically sweet FA we can do about it, because the powers that be have their heads so far up their asses that like they're looking out of their own nostrils. It's just, I wish I didn't relate to it that much. So,
True.
I mean,
I need to make an emote. Fuck my life.
Well, it's so tough because I think in many ways fantasy allows us that escapism, right?
Yep.
That in a world in which there are threats that are so great that the vast majority of people have no chance of facing them, we can rise up, we can rally together, we can make definitive, clear-cut change, we can fell the dragon, we can, be the hero, we can stop this, evil. It's one of those things where I think oftentimes games are an incredible device, and I know at some of the lowest times in my life, I felt the most empowered through games. When I felt like there was very little else that I could do, I could at least go to this world, and there I could act and see consequences. I could act and see the immediate effects of those actions. Our own world is much more terrifying, but I think the same lessons that we draw from games do still apply. Rallying for good causes, banding together with people who share a sentiment, knowing that even if the odds seem bleak, there is always a chance, if not in our lifetime, in other lifetimes, to do something that tips the balance in history. So it's so tough. I mean, I have really, really felt that pressure these last few months, and I think in the last few weeks in particular, just a breaking point myself. But that's why I think I love games so much, and Guild Wars 2 does a great job with it,
Well, it's nice to be in an environment where the world makes sense. There's a logical consistency, and you can see reasoning. Whereas in the real world, well, what the fuck?
Right?
It feels like some of our politicians have been lobotomized and they just didn't notice. That's the feeling that I'm getting. Anyway, yes. Fuck. Carry on.
Where have we gone with this conversation? I was I needed to go and answer a phone call very quickly, but we've gone into politics apparently.
Destruction, despair, cower, mortal.
It is kind of related. So it's okay.
Can I steer us into a different direction that's really something that I wanted to highlight about this episode that I loved?
Yes.
Oh, fuck yes. Yes, go.
The detective agency film noir cutscene is one of the best things I've ever seen in this game, and I want to watch it 500 more times.
Cutscene.
It's so good.
Yeah, see, that is where they Yes, the style of that was very good. Let me just find your bit, because I've got my bit, but I've already seen myself.
I think they did the detective thing, I think twice, actually. The one in the season 1, and then another one in season 4, I believe, with Bug in the System. That was also kind of like spy agent.
And now you know why Jury speaks how she does, because she is a detective at a noir film. It's brilliant.
Yep.
Yeah, it's awesome.
She's a great character. She really
She is.
I feel like I love her so much more than ever before. Like, I loved her and Kaz just because I liked their banter. I liked the way that they supported each other. I love LGBT representation in game. Like, to actually see characters that are in an active relationship and who are just like doing the things you do in a relationship, supporting one another through times of loss, through grief, through times of great celebration, through hardship, through trials. Like, just seeing that and having it just be a thing where it's like these two are together and they're with you and they're part of your companion cast. Like, I genuinely loved that.
It's
and
very
I like their
normalized.
kind of
Which is refreshing as hell. It's not like wow, this is this couple and they're completely doing something which is just, you know, new and wow, what's happening? Oh my god, shock horror. You know, it's just normal. It's just this is a relationship that is normal in the flipping world.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
It's not like every time you turn around in the game's like, have you seen our lesbians?
Yeah, exactly. It's so true. It is so true. Yes, but is it like that? Do you not get sick of that? Like, I'm an ally of the community. I'm just a cis white gendered man, but that pisses me off. And I can't even imagine where it's like, you know, hello everyone, and this is our PvP game. We have all these characters, and look at our gay couple, and it's just like, you know what? I mean,
it's funny
come
to
on,
me
man.
because I will never be
It's cool.
Yes, I know. All lesbians. Representation.
Is good, but we're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if anyone comes in and they just caught that might have sounded really bad. But like, we want that, but we don't want it to be like it being normalized in the world makes it feel more.
Yeah.
Comforting. I don't know the words, so I'm trying to use.
The thing is that I will never be somebody, because you hear so much like, ugh, representation, forced representation, yuck, I hate it when it's token and it's just a token to put into a game.
Yeah.
And the thing for me is never like, I will never fault a company for trying. I'm like, having representation, even if it is forced, is important, especially if you are in a studio where it is apparently some impossible big brain thing to realize that people different from you exist. It's like, maybe you do need to force it so that anybody has to try at all, bare minimum, you know? What to me is the real problem is when we see these bizarre brain leaps in writing where it's like, but they're two women, but they love each other? How do lesbians love each other? I don't know. One of them must be man, so we'll make woman, but man. What about if one of them has like a gimmick, like she loves pranks or something? Yeah. Like this is what absolutely destroys me, because I'm like,
I'm so glad I know you.
it kills me, because it's like, okay, if I sit down in role play and I'm like, how am I gonna write two characters in love? I'm like, okay, what is it like when I've ever loved another human being? And then I write that.
Right.
Like, what is it like to live with another person? And then I write that. Like, yes, there may be certain challenges that communities face that you yourself may not understand. There may be certain persecution, prejudice. There may be certain nuances that you don't understand. But when it comes down to it, like the depiction of Kaz and Jory, to me, right, it's like they are two people who are together. They clearly love each other. And the things they are going through are things that all characters are facing in this world. What it means to lose a loved one, what it means to face these challenges, what it means to be fighting against impossible odds, how you love and support someone through that. And that's what matters. But like all of this to say, I actually feel like I understand the core seeds of their personalities now, because I didn't know why Jory talked like that. And even over the course of me voicing her in the episode for the live stream that we were doing, I was like, oh, how do I kind of differentiate her? And then I thought back to that cutscene and I went, oh my gosh, she's in a film noir. So I started, doing that, like, I'm on the beat and I'm doing that,
exactly.
like,
yeah.
Like,
did you do the head movement as well? Did that help specifically?
Like, it all started coming together in like her persona, and then how Kaz contrasts her. So sorry, this has been a long ramble, but all of that to say, I feel like I actually have an understanding not just of them as like a couple, but as characters in the game now. So that's amazing, especially seeing what we have at the end, coming full circle, coming back to that tavern that I'd never stood foot in until the end of Dragons. Like maybe there's a story beat that takes you there, I don't know, but I never knew what it was or why it mattered. And now I do, and I felt it so much more. Like just seeing that whole journey that they took, it's just more powerful for it.
I have to say, I have been banging on about this for too many years now. I have been requesting this, and I've made so many videos just helping people to understand who they are with and their stories and everything, so that they feel a connection. Because you just arrive and then you're just surrounded by these people and you have no fucking clue. Who are these? Who are these guys? I mean, I like your hair, but who the fuck are you? And but it's so... It's so fucking. It's
I like
so
your
important.
hair. I like your priorities, so I do respect you for that.
Fashion was first, but
absolutely. It's like Rook right now in the game, like in the footage we're watching, like intense story reactions, then mount skins. Thanks, Rook. They look great.
They are gorgeous. Oh my god, they're too expensive.
Cool. I think something cool too about season 1 is how they wrapped it into season 5. Have you guys noticed that? Like they brought in the Scarlet story into EOD, and then kind of like wrapped it together in a way that where it kind of came full circle. Yeah. Where we started at the dead end and we ended at the dead end.
That's true. I mean, it was like that relationship kind of, and that being a detective and those themes like did actually, that's very true actually. That is a very good point.
Or how we met Marjorie and Casimir, and then at the very end of EOD we get to see them propose their love to each other.
Yep. Oh, I thought you were going to say propose to get married, because we got that wrong. Me and Rook we got that wrong.
I refuse. It's not wrong. Apparently. I think they have. I think they are married. They just haven't celebrated yet. That's my stance.
We see your shades.
I'm sorry. Somebody who's wrong says what?
I will fight you for next.
I think we need a PvP 1v1 arena, and like let's go. Best of 7.
I have the reflexes of a dead sloth, so no, let's not do that.
Wow.
I actually hadn't even thought about the poetry of the name of that location until you were just talking, Malcolmist. Like, dead end, right? When we get to this, like, granted, we kind of have a new horizon because, we were able to take down Zhaitan, but when you think about a lot of the themes of these characters, or like even ourselves at many points in the game, the idea that like the world felt like they had hit a dead end, these characters felt like in many ways that they were disempowered or had hit a dead end, that there is this like gathering place where all of these people who believe that like, well, we might as well all go here and drink, I guess, like, because who knows, like, to then have that be the setting of such a moment of hope and like new futures and new horizons and overcoming this dead end that the world was facing, and forging a new future, and then literally having that with like the definite marriage that happened in the wedding that occurred there. It's so powerful, and you lose that nuance if you never got to play this. So I'm really glad that it's back in the game, and it was really fun to get to see it.
We are currently watching Rook still in Lions Watch. You really are looking like they open the map and everything's good. Like that's the thing, and I feel like a lot of people are gonna do the same thing. Honestly,
hang on, are you wearing the same T-shirt?
No, this is a different one. I was like,
oh my god, the same outfit. You truly are a content creator. Is it the same
No, it's
t-shirt?
different. This is a new t-shirt.
I didn't point that out. I didn't say it.
I'm sorry. I have done a great betrayal today in that both in this video and on this stream, I am wearing two different Final Fantasy 14 shirts.
You don't worry,
immediately.
I'm wearing a Valheim shirt, so
I'll see myself out. Thank you all for having me on the podcast today.
Yeah.
It is one of those things though. I've done that before, and I'm looking at footage, and I'm like, you're wearing exactly the same t-shirt there. But like, you just like wearing that. That's your Sunday t-shirt, and that's your comfy t-shirt. Oh, that's my comfy t-shirt.
Yeah.
You guys
Sometimes-
are dressed. I'm in my pajamas, so whatever.
I thought you were gonna be like, I'm nude. So
I mean, you could be. I mean, that's up to you. That's your prerogative.
whatever floats your boat.
I wouldn't want to scare
Float
no,
your boat.
I'm in my
podcasting
pajamas.
naked. Oh, are they like just very, very like Harry Potter. Not Harry Potter, hopefully. Actually, maybe not.
No. Not anymore, sadly.
Yeah, not anymore. No, they would have been cool.
Yeah.
Maybe like when we didn't know she was a complete arsehole. But anyway, respect to all human beings. Sorry. No.
Hang on, I have a button for this. There we go, people. Just
Yeah, good
Yeah,
stuff.
it's a button.
correct.
Right, Dead End Pub. We're gonna go there. We're gonna see your reaction. Actually, can I? Your audio.
Something else too about
Oh, yeah.
Marjorie and Casimir is that they're really grounded. Like we were talking about how well they're written and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
like you can see so much emotion and so much like relationship between them. Like for instance, in season 3, I remember this specifically when we have that part where I don't want to do any spoilers or anything in case anyone hasn't seen it yet. But basically, we just saw the bad guy for season 3, and Casimir is freaking out completely. But Marjorie is always there, like behind her, trying to keep her sane and trying to keep her like not from going crazy, because she just literally saw like the most powerful being that she knew, and she's rightfully freaking out. But you can tell that Marjorie's always going to be there, backing her up. And I feel like that kind of writing is really powerful. So
They have a normal relationship. They have ups and downs. They fall out. They had like there was a thing that happened in the story, and one of the characters felt like they'd let down the other one, and it affected them. And it was just it's just a real relationship.
Well, the
And I
end
like
of this.
that it isn't Mary Sue or perfect or
Yeah.
hypersexualized or any of the stupid shit that they like to do.
Yeah.
It's just two
True.
people who love each other, who are flawed human beings like everyone else.
I
And
mean,
that's great.
the end of this season specifically, again, not going to say anything, but the end of this season, that is highlighted again. Like, it's highlighted actually very often, which is good. I feel like it's the love story of Guild Wars 2, right? I mean, really, isn't it? I mean, other than, maybe dragon stuff. Like, I don't know what to say there.
Our love for our dragon daughter, like a parental love, is like front and center, right? But
Yeah.
they are the most stable, longest relationship in the game that we have,
sure.
and it's beautiful.
Okay, right. Well, I totally agree, and I thought, why not? Let's listen to the little bit, and I'm not going to embarrass you. We'll listen to the. I'm not sure if you were quiet during this bit, but it doesn't matter. We'll get your reaction anyway.
I don't remember.
I can do mine, but I'd rather get yours because I haven't seen it. So, just the film noir bit. Let's listen to this.
Cutscene?
Could have been just another dreary night in the same old smoky bar.
It's
With
like a
that
film
siren
noir!
song lulling drunks and lonely hearts deeper into their sorrows. It could have been. But then, he walked in.
Oh my
Logan
gosh.
The man with all the answers.
No, he has no answers.
Well, some of the answers.
None of the time.
Some of the time.
This
Marjorie
is so
Delacroix?
good.
If it suits you.
It suits me just fine. I want to hire you. There's been a murder. Lion's Arch Counselor Theo Ashford is dead. and I want to know who's responsible.
This is awesome, by the way.
This is
Perfect.
so fun.
Between you and me, Ashford's an old friend of the family. I want to make sure they find his killer.
I see. And you don't trust the Lion Guard?
Let's just say I'm hedging my bets. The pay's good. You in?
How can I say no to Captain Love?
No names. I was never here.
Shut up.
Maybe not. But your money is.
Logan, you're not even in disguise. You nanny?
Lady
You just
Casper.
walked in here in your
What are
full
you doing?
gear.
You know, when you say this, I know it's lagging behind. I literally was the same. I was like, dude, how is no one going to notice that you're here? Like, you're flipping Logan. That you just came in with your, like, flashy gold armor and shit. Like, dude, seriously, man. How are people going to not notice that you're here? Like, no names.
Look, I'm starting to develop a fondness for him as like the Chad of Guild Wars 2.
Yeah,
That is like, Logan's like, I must go undercover. So he just wears his actual armor that identifies him as a member.
He doesn't even wear
Oh.
hats. Like, he doesn't wear a helmet or anything. Like, and his hair. I know
he
he's
just
the standard
walks in.
human. Yeah, he's just like, hey, yeah, I'm not Logan Thackeray. Here's some money, do this thing. Yeah.
Well, even with Destiny's, there's a Destiny's Edge. I can't remember what they're called, but basically, like, it's the group. But he was always like gunning for the queen, and he was like always trying to get into a spot where he could save the queen and be there to be the macho man.
Man.
Like, he's a simple, straightforward boy. He doesn't, simple motivations, one brain cell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, him and Bram are fighting for that one sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I at least, I think Bram at least has something going on in there. He he might not always be
better now. We
be
like
able
him.
to put them together in the best, most conductive, way, but he's got something kind of happening in there.
Yeah.
I really would not be surprised if you walked into a room and Logan was just sitting behind a desk, like
Facing the wall.
just staring at the wall, yeah, just smiling. You're like, buddy, what's going on?
This brick is so
a
nice.
little bit of drool just coming down his cheek.
Oh, good lord. He is the standard white male in this story. He really is.
Let's be kind to white men, okay? Let's be kind to them, okay? They're fragile.
I mean,
Be
I
kind
know
to
this. I know this. I know. I'm there. It's okay. It's fine. I understand.
The femme fatale trope here is it's perfect. I love it.
I love that this is all framed. Like, Jory is the detective and Logan is the beautiful woman that walks in off the street who's like, I'm at a loss and I don't know what to do. And Jory's smoking
That's
a
so
cigarette.
true. Like classic detective behind the desk kind of, the washed out window or whatever it's called, and with their name on the door and all that kind of stuff. Very true. Yeah.
Yep.
It's really well done.
Fun fact, my mum was a private investigator.
Really?
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
You've got a hat as well, so you can put that together. Did you just go? You were like,
Tip for anyone, it is deeply boring and very cold, so just think before you jump into that line of work, okay? And yes, if you think your husband is cheating on you, he probably is, okay?
Oh, good lord!
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Next.
Oh my.
Some interesting advice there. I'm just going to play the rest of this and witness the awesomeness that is Rook
Cass is
right
like,
now.
I can ask you the same thing, but really, I'm here because have you seen her? She is everything, and I am into it.
Jory, what did Logan Thackeray want?
Also, I think this is
That
when
was
they
great.
started evolving their cutscenes too. Like, they went from the two heads talking to actual interacting with the NPCs in person. I really like how they changed that.
It's weird though, because I think that scene there, was very, very cool, and we haven't seen it that much, that style.
Yeah.
I know that could be more specific to the way they're trying to do the whole detective film noir thing, but at the same time, it still feels like that sketchy still shot where part of the foreground moves and the background doesn't, and there's kind of that there's not animation, but you know you probably know the name. You probably both know the name of it being art, but like that kind of sketchy.
They probably do it to get a certain feel for the scene, and so I feel like they wouldn't be able to get that if they were animating just them talking.
Yeah, like the standard kind of two people thing.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the two people thing as well, though, at times, especially with I think it was just the background art.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that was what it was a lot of the time, and also just like having the two characters there. I don't know. I think I missed that a little bit, but it's but now, like you say, it's just in the world. But they've also transitioned it with like the mini cutscene. The cutscene is very good.
Yeah. I was going to say that, so they do something lovely with the cameras for season 1, where it kind of clips. You run in to interact with the scene, and it rolls around you, and then the camera rolls around the talking characters, so that it has a very cinematic feel. And I feel like Final Fantasy XIV does this superbly. They do so much with the fairly limited animation set that they have, and they use a lot of camera work. And I'm hopeful that going forward, because this was actually how it looked originally, these kind of fancy cameras, this isn't new, this is how it looked originally, and I'm hoping that they'll get a bit more of that hybridity to it, so it's your character, it's you're in the scene, but you've also got a bit of dynamic camera to do a bit more storytelling with it. I would like that gets a thumbs up from me, please. More.
Yeah, that was fun. The hybridity. I don't know if I've ever heard anyone use that.
That is not a word. That is not a word.
I mean, is it not a word?
I don't. It could be. It could be.
It could be. Maybe. I don't know. Reader?
Maybe.
Reader's here. Reader will find out.
Hybridity. No, it's not a word.
Sounds good.
We got the basic gist of what you meant.
Yeah, it's the British accent. You can say anything, and it sounds okay. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes people do that. It's true. It was nice to be here. Shall I tell you what does worry me? That in 8 years, the pub has not changed. Like, I'm just like, this is just such a pub. This is so true. Like in English pubs, like specifically, they just look the same forever. Yeah. Unless they have a complete refurbishment, nothing changes. It's just nothing changes. Not even like the what are these things called that you put your cups on? Oh God. These things. Coasters, that's right. Even those, like they're crusty, like cardboard ones, they've been there for years. Like the floor is sticky and horrible. Like
the floor gets more sticky. That's it.
Yeah.
You know they have to redecorate when you actually like go in and you just can't move your feet anymore. Yeah. And you're like frozen.
Not even a joke. There's a pub in Seattle that is literally, it's called the Georgian Dragon, I think. And it's literally like, if I ever want to taste something, I just go in there and immediately I'm stuck at the entrance. I'm like, can't move forward. It's great. It's amazing. Yeah, no, it's cool. But yeah, no, it's true. I didn't actually look at this book. The Help Wanted sign. I wonder if that's new, because they didn't have that back then. Obviously, they didn't have this system. We know the person who put this system was part of putting the system, Splatline Chess, Chris, one of my good mates. He was one of the people that put that system in. So that's definitely new. Or maybe it was like a sign or something that was there before. I don't think I talked to him at this point, the bartender. I know at the end you could. I didn't spend too much time. I was like, I'm going to go back to Bloodtide Coast. This is going to be so cool. I just ran out. So good job on like staying in there for a bit. I did get... Now, after this section, I'm just trying to remember where we are now. So we're in the pub. We talked to the boring man. And then... Sorry.
Yeah.
And then we go and try and find the clues, right? Or do we go back to Lion's Arch first? I can't remember. But basically, general gist of the story, person gets assassinated. We're talking about the episode. It doesn't matter if we're talking about spoilers. person gets assassinated because we're in Old Lion's Arch during Dragon Bash. We're trying to find who it was. Tons of the representatives have walked away, and we're like gonna go and try and find them. So there's like a Quaggan, a Skrit, the Coda, and I think there's one more.
There's a Sylvari who's very edgy.
Yes, the Sylvari and the Quaggan, yes. So like the Sylvari, who's very interesting and cares more about their fashion and not looking and trying to make sure they don't have an orange yellow hue around them or something. I don't know, it was quite funny. And just trying to find out who out of these people had basically assassinated this Char. And there's my Trin sitting on the stage the whole time, and we're just like everyone that knows is like, oh, and then like everyone who doesn't know is, I don't. What did you think about that scene, Matron? As someone who hasn't played it yet, Rook, what was that bit like when you saw Matron kind of sitting there on the stage, and you already know what you know?
It's so tough because End of Dragons, like all the stuff that I had even learned beforehand about living season 1 and then having played End of Dragons, I mean, it was no surprise, even the fact that like they literally used the same hair and everything. So I was just like the moment I was there, I was like, her, it's her. She's the one. She did it. That one did it.
She's right there.
But I mean, I think they did try, right? Like the way they wrote it, it does feel like you could maybe, like, some of the other characters might be a little more abrasive. She's also kind of seated, so she doesn't seem as prominent, and her head is down at the start, so she doesn't seem as noticeable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I think they did what they could with something that, I mean, has been literally a plot point of this game for years now. Like, it's not like anybody who's played Beyond wasn't going to know that she probably had something to do with this, unless they really, really, really had never looked into the story of Living Season 1, or, I mean, it's mentioned several times that she murdered him, and, even in End of Dragons. But again, you might miss that dialogue in the moment if you just don't understand. So, I felt fine about it. It's kind of tough because it is a foregone conclusion. I love a good detective story. I grew up on Poirot. I grew up on like the old Jeremy Brett Sherlock Holmes. Like I love murder mysteries. Murder, She Wrote. Like I still have such a soft spot in my heart for them. So I was hoping we'd get to actually do more of an investigation and have to like make a guess and, go into it that way.
Cool.
But at the same time, I think it was still fun. I still liked the different characters. It was a good cast. There were still lots of good little devices and things, and it was memorable. So yeah, I mean, we all Dunbed knew. We knew she was the one who did it. So
I'm just trying to remember back then if we were surprised or if we even cared. That's what I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I cared who did it. I don't think I did at the time. I think I was just kind of like more blown up because that happened, and then you're like Aether Blades. So that it wasn't like, I didn't care. I don't think I cared that the child guy died. Cool. I mean, and that kind of sucked, I guess, for them.
We had no idea that we had no idea of the connective tissue. We didn't know that this was like an inciting incident, and it had underlying things with the dragon. We were just completely like, well, shit, that happened. Well, god damn. Okay, and then
Kroof was shocked, says in chat, and the Nostril Master selling emotes of their nostrils online.
By the way, the pictures they shared on Twitter, absolutely beautiful picture. Looks absolutely gorgeous, darling. You're beautiful.
What, the nostril one?
Proof. No. What? No. What? No. Stop.
I mean, I do think that Kroof's nostrils are beautiful. I do love
I
them.
need to go and check this.
I mean, no kink shame if nostrils are your thing, but, How would that work?
No.
Okay.
No. Oh, that one. Okay, yes. Of course.
I remember when I was streaming the episode and I saw her sitting there on the like the deck thing. I'm like, hee.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I know you.
Yeah. I know your future. Oh dear. Maybe it won't go that far. That is a big one. But yeah, I think you were using, that's right, we were using the thing to detect stuff on people, which was weird. I remember that. I remember it being very similar to the Halloween detection device. I remember them using that thing, that mechanic a lot in different parts of the story. Maybe it was just here as well, but yeah, it was okay. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't, yeah, I don't know. I think it was just all right. I think there were parts of this episode where I was like, you can see they picked up a theme of doing something and they rolled with it, like they have done in the future. So they do this thing where they give you a bunch of story, they give you some cutscenes, they take you're in LA, and then you're in Bloodtide Coast finding code again. And I was like, oh no, we're doing this again. Like, that was annoying. And it's not that they need to fill it out somewhere, they have to. But what I didn't realize is that in Bloodtide Coast you could do any event to tick on the progress bar. I didn't know that. I thought it was those little mini Aether Blade events. They kicked it over, so you've got that progress bar top right hand corner to kick the story over. Doing any event gave you like a 1% like progress, and like the Aether Blade events gave you like quarter of a bar or a third of the bar or something. I was just like trying to find events with other commanders during the night. You've got me wandering around like, where are the Aether Blade events? And it takes me like half an hour in the video to just be like, what is going on? And it felt a little bit disconnected, and I couldn't find Ellen Keel when I needed to kick the quest back over in Bloodtide Coast. I was like, what do I do here?
It's so weird.
If you do the clues too, that also progresses the bar, where you go and find all the different clues.
I was so surprised that there isn't like a marker over Ellen's head when you come into the zone.
That's so
like I had to have.
Thank you.
I had, well, literally.
Did you had a trouble with this, Rick? Right? Okay.
Yeah. Well, but like literally, chat told me, go find Ellen, and I was like, she's here, and I like went over, and then she told me what was going on, and then I do agree with you, Jeb. I would have almost wished, because I mean, Fornex, you mentioned earlier the like assaults from the Aether Blades that were happening up in the mountains or something like that. Yeah. Like, even if they had said at this point, you know, there are various assaults happening in parts of the world, check out blank, blank, or blank. And then, you know, we'd had, you know, the little code things that you could search for and put 2 and 2 together. I actually like the codes because I feel like the way they kind of innovate how different like spies would have left those codes and stuff, it feels like the intrigue is there, you know? But I had the same problem where I was like, wait, hold on. Okay, all right, well, the Aether Blade, I guess I'll look for the Aether Blade commanders, and I got a few of them, and then I couldn't find any more, and I was like, I ran around the map in circles, and then I went to one of the events that was up, but the event was bugged, and would never complete, and so I wasted like 25 minutes just there working on the event, like, this is so weird, why did it finish? And then
and then just thinking, if I leave now, it's gonna finish, and like, it's there doing that thing. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know why they're so bad at this. They're so bad at this.
I think it's a connect. Well, the idea is good, but there's something missing. It is honestly in this bit. It is for Ellen. There was just a marker missing above her head, and there was a marker on the map in the south, which was incorrect as well. Like that was broken. And then the in the top right hand corner, it was like, do events to defend Tyria against like the Aether Blade invasion or whatever. I'll be able to read it when you get there. But like, it just felt like disconnected. Like there was, because I would have just assumed it was about the Aether Blades, like not just doing some random event with like centaurs at the northwest side of the map. Like, what's that got to do with anything? Like, no, they don't care what's going on. They're just trying to kill humans. Like, who cares? I don't know.
So if any ArenaNet devs are watching, so this is my idea to how to solve this problem. Okay, Gigabrain kind of exclamation mark, like right. So you zone into the map. You're sent to talk to a Lion Guard, right? And the Lion Guard, when you go up to talk to them with a marker over their head so that people can see where it is, please, right? And then boom, you have an Aether Blade attack. And then the Lion Guard tells you battle with them, they survive to the end, or they're falling down dead, and they're saying, chase the Aether Blades across the map. And there you have an inciting incident, you have in story rather than text at the side of your screen telling you what you need to do, and off you roll. And you could have a special like marker on the map, or a green area or a blue circle telling you where they've been spotted, or you could have like clues to, you know, the different Lion Guard trying to figure out what's going on, because Ellen Keeley's also undertaking an investigation at this point, right? So boom, there you have it, and it's in the map, it's in the world, and it's not just reading text. And my problem is the game is so good, but 50% of it is inside your UI like hero tab. And they need to break free their content and put it in the world so that it can be seen rather than like a tab game. It's
I feel like we've had this conversation in nearly every single podcast, no matter who's on it. It really no, don't apologize. It's a very valid statement. I want to validate what you're saying. I feel like we all think it. Probably everyone in the chat does as well. Like, I mean, so I think I really do think more people would understand and engage with the game more if they knew there was more that they could do outside of just navigating a really clunky UI. I mean, it just is, and it's always been that way, and they've tried their best to work around it, but I think they tried to do something very unique. I honestly feel like there is a problem inherently with Guild Wars 2, and I'm going to go off the topic a little bit. It's okay, because we're just going by Rook's gameplay, and Rook's behind right now, so it's fine. You're probably talking about, I don't know, the bar. That makes sense.
Probably.
Okay, well, you said it.
It's a very good topic.
That's good. Yeah, it is a very good topic. It's fine. It's a fine topic. But like it's a good point. It's like if you're in a game and you see things above people's heads in MMOs, you go to them and you click them and you do the thing. That is just the thing that happens. If you don't see the thing, like you say, you don't know where to go and what to do. It's just the way the games are made, and it seems so stupid, but it's just the way it is. And I really I want people to be innovative. I want people to do different things. I like it when they do, but if it doesn't work, get them in the game a different way so people stay for the reasons the game is already awesome for, because there's so many different things that they can do with the collections that are so good. The skins you can get, the stories you can uncover, the side stuff, the cool random stuff you can get, you can put in your instant, like loads of stuff. And just like seeing it, like I don't know all of this stuff half the time go through the achievements, and it's like with these achievements, right, they could have really highlighted this so well. You get these cool shades, you get this cool like thing that Aether Blade, like what is it, like a visor,
like hollow eyes,
yeah. Like that, it's been in the game for so long and you have not been able to get it. And I was like, what? Like, if I didn't know that was with it until I looked for the achievements. I clicked the achievement. You sell the episode on that. You get a new thingamajig. You get 20 slot back. Like if you play some shit, like there's some really good stuff. Because they're locked in the achievements, you don't get to see that. And you can see it in the story panel, and you can see maybe like one of the items or something, but there's a real problem. It's almost like the marketing in their game. It's like there's that question of like telling you what to do in the game is a problem as well as in the outside world. It really does translate in that way. It's really odd, but anyway, I'm not gonna get on my high horse about this, because we could talk about this forever, and we always do. But like, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. I mean, it does shock me that they don't highlight things, the awesomeness of their own game in the game a little bit more. And I think someone that's actually been doing a good job at highlighting the good points of their game is a big World of Warcraft creator. He did another video recently. What's his name? I can't remember his name. He's English as well.
Bellular.
That's it.
Oh.
I mean, it sounded.
Right.
Yeah, sorry to butcher your name, mate.
That's a World of Warcraft streamer, or it used to be World of Warcraft streamer. I don't think he plays it anymore.
He does everything now. Any of all of the MMOs now.
He a couple of days ago he did a big review. He's playing through Guild Wars 2, and he's just playing through the first story. So I keep telling him, dude, you're not even into the real game yet. You just keep going.
Yeah.
It gets better.
Yeah, but he's enjoying it. Yeah, he's enjoying it. Yeah.
I think. Thing is, I love that Guild Wars has completely like paradigm shifted all sorts of things, but there are some things that you don't have to reinvent the wheel for everything. They have these massive dynamic maps, they have these massive world bosses, they have so much wonderful stuff, but sometimes, especially people coming out of other games, you just need to like hit players over the head with, "Oi, do this is awesome, you can get this, oi, idiot, do this." Pretend that Bram is the player, right? And just like big neon
Logan.
Signs for when we can do stuff.
It's Logan now. You got to change it. We've changed from Bram to Logan now. He's the one who's going to get abused.
Yeah. He's the one drooling into his cornflakes. Right, fine. Okay, that's fine. I can accept that.
I mean, I think they both drool at some point. So
yeah, probably at least once,
combined.
both of them.
Combo drooling. Okay, I'm glad you went over to this rock. They do. Drooling apparently is one. Don't know where we're going with this.
No kink shame here. If drool is your thing, you do you, boo.
Yes.
But yeah, I totally agree. Yes, drooling, sure, yeah, you do you, boo. Do whatever you're gonna do. I don't, whatever. You're just a normal thing people do. As somebody who drools a lot in my sleep, I have no leg to stand on. Sorry, everybody, if this is a dark revelation.
Are you one of those people that drool and then you wake up to the pool as well?
Oh, I hate that.
I high five you from afar. It's okay. I do that. I do that as well.
You're not alone. You
are not alone. It's true.
Yes. All of that aside, I agree with all the commentary about
the drooling.
The drooling. The end.
Alchemist is like, why am I here?
Our first podcast ever.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Is this your first podcast ever?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It's great. I love it.
I agree with all the commentary about things like the quest markers and stuff like that. I adore this game. I absolutely love it. I even love that it lets us have these more free roam moments, because there are very few games that do, and that have like entire sections of the story that are just like, go explore the map, you dingle, we made it, go do stuff on it, do the things on it. Like
that is one thing I like about Guild Wars 2 as well, is because like if I'm playing World of Warcraft or like any other MMO, I feel like I'm led on with quests, and like you always get told where to go and what to do, and so you never really get to explore in depth different areas of the map, just because if you're just doing the quest, you're not going to do that.
Yes,
but Guild Wars 2 actually helps like us to explore and to do things around the map, and it also helps that there's a lot of really cool like different details they put in the map too that helps with that too. So I feel like Internet does a really good job at helping us realize that exploration is the key to the game.
I agree.
I was going to say... Oh, sorry.
I'll go after you. Round 2, let's go. No.
Okay. I was going to say, so I'm a veteran WoW player. I played right from the beginning, from 2005, 6, like.
Right there with you.
Yeah. So you remember, right? The first when the game first launched, there was fucking nothing. There was no map. Well, there was a map that you had to uncover. There were no quest markers. Quest givers were marked, but where you had to go, what you had to do. I remember there was like, go find a dragon cave, and it was somewhere in the middle of Wintergrasp, and to do this massive dragon slayer. I mean, I've got like the Onyxia Forge sword. I mean, I was like balls deep into World of Warcraft. Sorry, God. Oh my God, I've just demonetized you. But
what did you say?
Nothing. I didn't say anything. Nothing was said.
Just edit it out later. It's all good.
Yeah. So I can't. So it's kind of strange that that they went from being a total exploration game with very like meandering localized stories to now this super like narratively focused, led by the nose story going through. And I feel like there's like a happy medium. I feel like there's like a sweet spot that some dev is going to find at some point.
For sure. Yeah.
There has to be. I mean, because the same thing kind of even happens in 14, right? So 11, which was 14's predecessor, was the complete opposite. Nothing was marked, including major important quest characters where you unlocked new classes or you got gear to even wear as a character. Like, I have been playing a little bit of 11 and watching some other stuff for the first time ever recently, and it is buck wild. Like, I told this story on a different podcast, but like I have to tell it again because it's wild to me. My partner had always dreamed of being a ranger in 11, and back when they used to play it, like way back in the day, they never got there. And I don't blame them as a child, because what human could ever figure this out without looking at a guide? They now, as an adult, went in and they were like, talk to this one person who looks like they have nothing to do with rangers ever, and who kind of only tells you sort of a thing, maybe hinting at rangers. Then go wander around a map, find a cave, just a cave that's unmarked. Stand in the cave. No quest marker, no text that's told you to do this. Stand in the cave. Wait for a tiger to show up. If the tiger shows up and it's old, it will start to die. Wait 15 real minutes for its health bar to deplete in real time.
This is a real thing?
This is a real thing.
This is a real thing. I thought you were joking. Okay, continue,
this is
please.
A real thing
this
that
is
I
amazing.
My partner do. Stand in the cave. You can't kill the tiger, because if you kill the tiger, you betrayed its soul. So you have to wait until its health bar depletes, tiny fraction by tiny excruciating fraction, all the way to the end. When the tiger is dead, go up to its body, which has no indicator that there's a thing on it that you can interact with, and then take the teeth that fall out of its skull. Then take those teeth to someone else who will tell you that the tiger entrusted you with its legacy and that you have a soul befitting of a ranger. Like, okay. So this is what 14 was working with as a predecessor to quest style in 11. As a result, after 1.0,
Final Fantasy did like basically blow up when it launched, so
That's true.
it did destroy the entire world.
So then 1.0 happened.
That makes sense now.
1.0 has to get blown up and restarted. We get new design mentality coming in, which is also why I think we saw this shift in World of Warcraft, right? Because players were so frustrated with these bizarre arcane systems that made no sense and that no human being would ever intuit, because there was no text ever leading you on in the right direction or anything. Yeah. So like now in 14, we have the complete opposite, where honestly it feels like many of the landscapes are just a backdrop for the location you have to walk to, click on a person, and then leave. Like there's nothing else that exists in there. Yeah. So all of this to say, I do think, like, I appreciate that Guild Wars 2 has engaging open world maps, but I also simultaneously agree with everybody in that I really truly think that they need to do a better job of communicating these things to some degree. Yeah. Even if it's literally that in a conversation you make it to that map, the icon's over that NPC's head, and then that NPC in no uncertain terms very clearly says to you, explore the map. How do you do that? Great. Well, here's a little thing about go here, look at this, look for dynamic events, look at hearts, look at whatever, like, because as it is, it's so confusing. Like as a new player, it took me so long to even realize that when I walked into an event, I had to let my eyes gravitate to the right-hand corner of the screen to get the details of the event that I was even trying to participate in. Like if I would talk to the heart vendor, I had no idea. Like sometimes they give you helpful information, but sometimes they don't. If they're your quest giver, you would assume that they would tell you exactly what to do. Like, there are worms in the hills up that way, so go kill them. As it is, as a new player, I was just like,
you're a prospector in like America during the great, movement towards the west. I mean, that's what it sounds like you were doing. And also there were giant worms everywhere. Yeah, that makes sense.
But it's so confusing sometimes, even with hearts, because there will be an objective that's like, read the scans on the thing, kill worms. And you're like, where are the worms?
What did worms do to you? I mean, that's what I want to know. It's like every time it's a fucking worm.
There's a lot of low-level hearts that involve dumb worms, and I could never find where the
End of
stupid
Dragons,
worms
there
were.
is also a worm heart as well. In the bed, you know, I bet you hate that one as well.
I do. Because I would just never know. It's like they tell you one thing and another thing, but they don't actually tell you at all where those things are in relation to one another. So there might be something that fills the heart that is like a whole league away from the actual heart that you have no idea
You're
about,
looking for
right?
when that heart disappears, right?
Yes,
Like you're like at the boundary. You're like, oh.
It's the same in this zone. Like Fornex was pointing out, like please just put some kind of marker that says like this is a thing that's happening in the zone that counts for this, that I can visually see that. The same with, and this is still a pet peeve, and it still got me in this particular one. I truly hate this. Maybe this is just me. But I truly hate two things about instance structuring right now. One, that when they're trying to lead you to an instance, they put those green markers on every eligible gateway that could get you to an instance.
Oh my god.
Yes.
So
Oh my god.
Like you don't have a waypoint system in the game.
So it's like I run towards the green. I'm in a portal. The marker is nowhere in sight. I look around. Where do they want me to go? I take another portal. I'm so confused. Where am I? I finally realize that this is a trap I've fallen into 100 times. So I open up the map and there's the little star, but it's the exact same kind of green, whether it's that this is a portal that will take you there or this is the actual quest location. And then the other thing that drove me nuts and still drives me nuts is that when you get into a story instance, sometimes on top of you, while you are talking to an NPC, you finish the dialogue and then a thing pops up and it's like, do you want to leave the instance? And you click it because you were just talking to an NPC, and then you leave the instance and you're like,
I gotta start thinking again. Yeah.
You're like literally walking through the map and a thing pops up and you don't know what it is. And you're like, do I want to continue the instance? Yes. And then you leave and you're like,
we are humans. We will click the OK button.
We're all naughty clickers. We are all naughty clickers.
All naughty clickers. I truly do not think you need those stupid things in there. I think you just, if you have the little exit the duty thing right there in the corner, just draw players' attention to it or whatever so that they know how to just leave those instances if they need to at any point. Yeah. Because as a new player, I'd be going through those story instances and I'd be thinking they were asking me like, do you want to go to the next zone? Do you want to do the next thing? Do you want to do the... And every time I'd click it, and then people in chat would be like, you just left the instance again for the 7th time.
It's not just that. They're trying to create a fictive dream, right? Like the same that writers do. That is immersion breaking. You're trying to follow the story, you're trying to read the text, you're trying to do it all, and this thing is popping up, and it is fucking annoying.
Yeah, it's more of a system message, right? It's like it reminds you that you're in a space that can be exited pretty easily, rather than just seeing that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, there's audio. When you said the audio thing, I also thought you were going to start talking about, you know, how some of the NPCs audio just like copies over the other audio, and I was like, oh no, I'm remembering that now as well. And there is those problems. Sure.
Do you like the directionality, by the way, of the new audio? So you turn away and you can barely hear it, and you turn towards them, it's very loud. Yeah, I find that annoying.
The directional.
I think it just depends. I think games go with that more nowadays, especially because most people are wearing headphones. Like they just go in the surround sound audio, so it brings more. It's supposed to be more immersive because you're facing that way, like you say. If you've got your speakers set up round the wrong way, that can really spin you out. You're just like, oh no.
I like looking at the scenery. I mean, especially if I played through it like 7 times, I'm like spinning around, and then it's so dramatic though. It's like
you can change
it's
that.
like super loud. Can you? Oh my god!
Change
How?
It stereo.
What?
To change it to stereo, the left and right channel.
So it affects the directionality. So when I'm facing the character. Does it affect that?
I don't know. Actually, is it stereo? I mean, Guild Wars stereo might be something else, actually. Because stereo... No, that might still be it. I'd have to have a look. But remind us at the end. We'll have a look. Maybe someone else in chat knows. No. It's another point. It's
curmudgeon. I'm being a curmudgeon. I am.
We're starting to go on to features and stuff that we're upset about in the game, I think, rather than the episode. But
you didn't make a comprehensive list of what we can talk about, so this is your fault.
Yeah, it's all your fault, Jebro.
It is actually.
How dare you?
Oh, look, the
I was going
Silvari.
to say though, Silvari. I think it is a good point though, because the fact that even now in a brand new release like this, there is a major NPC that's unmarked. It's a bit of oversight of quest design and marking these kinds of things for players moving forward. So like, there's a much bigger kind of discussion to have about it. But I mean, when I figured out what to do in the zone, it was like, fine, here we go. But there are definitely some little stumbling blocks with some of this, and that probably would have been the only.
You did it. You went to the same place as I did. Sorry, I was like, where did you go? You went to, after this bow in Lion's Arch. Sorry to interrupt, I was rude. I think you did the same thing as I did. I'm just going to keep it going. Sorry, continue your point unless I completely interrupted and now you forgot.
Oh no, I mean, I was just going to say that, like, I think they need to pay attention to those things. We've seen some slight blips as well with we haven't even talked about these yet, but we will, the legendary weapons, and one of the weird little quest zone prerequisite things that was making people lose their minds when it came to that stupid wizard. Or like the fact that in this particular zone, there was that one event that I was trying to finish that was just bugged and just like doesn't work. And of course, there are always things to, like, if you encounter these things, obviously submit reports, let people let them know what the conditions were. There will always be some little problems, but it does feel like if we're going back and we're doing these new episodes, they should probably take a quick look at that zone. They should probably take a quick look at those things, and make sure, like, okay, well, if we're going to have the events in here, how are the old events? Do we have bug reports on these? And maybe they did. I don't know, but like, it did feel like that particular beat of this episode of the story was the one kind of rough spot. It felt like I kind of stumbled around and I was sort of trying to do stuff, but it didn't really feel related to what I was actually trying to do. And there's some events and some pirates, but they weren't Aether Blades. But then, like, so this was maybe the one strange spot for me in this episode, and I think it is a culmination of some of those design issues and little problems there.
What I would say is, if this is a problem for us, I ran into this. And we're veteran players. If someone is just coming off, brand new to the game, just played through the opening, like, personal story, and runs into this and gets lost, that's a problem.
Frustrating. It is.
That's a problem. That could kick somebody out of the game, and then they're not buying the expansion, and we've just lost a potential member of the to
sorry
to
to
sort
say
this
this,
out.
but you're completely right. Like, it really is.
Especially if Steam comes out.
It is that important. I think it really is. Like, they have. I think the biggest problem, and we know that they've written a big blog post about how they're testing new player experiences, and they need to test it through this experience, because this is new player stuff. This is, especially if they're like advertising its content that's coming into the game now, the people are going to start picking this up. And if they get that disconnection, like you say, like, what is it on Steam? I've said this before. I'll try and look up the stat. But the average time that people take to leave a game is like 12 minutes or something stupid like that. Like, can you imagine that being something that happens? Like, I mean, by that time you could probably say that they're going to carry on, because they just will, because they're past 12 minutes. But like, it is enough to disconnection for them to get pissed. Visibly, like, I was pretty upset. I was like, where do I go? I felt stupid. I genuinely, I hate it when games make me feel stupid. I'm playing this to enjoy myself, and I feel really stupid right now. Like, I'm not doing something right, and it's really basic. And I know that I can be a bit space cadet sometimes. Like, I know that I am like that, but not to this degree. Like, I am not seeing something. There is something that is not here in this map, and it's just pissing me off. And it was just that one NPC. Oh no, you've paused in a really awkward position. Sorry. Sorry. It was just because I was off the screen. It was weird. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I didn't do that on purpose. I'm going to find the really awkward spot where you're going to be looking interesting. It still looks amazing though, so even with the face.
Wow.
Aw, thank you, Jebro.
Okay, you took that as a compliment, thank you. You're always amazing. But I love how you did the exact same thing I did in this specific case, where you were like, you saw the marker on the map in Bloodtide Coast. Wait a minute, where is it?
Excuse me.
Which is probably what we all did. You're like, did you zoom out? You're like, oh, where do I go? Oh no, there's the green marker saying I should go north when I shouldn't go north. Oh, oh no, now we're here. And that's where the mission is. That's where the quest is. It's definitely there. Here we go. I'm excited.
I did that like 3 times. I'm like, why am I getting kicked out? What? I've been playing this game since beta. They have to sort this. They have to sort this. It's not good.
Oh my god, it was so
Especially
frustrating.
before Steam comes out. Fix it.
Look at Rook's face. I'm sorry, that's my face. That's the face I had. I was like, that is the face I had.
Well, I just, like, even if they had just put the marker on where Ellen is standing, and then I had picked the waypoint nearest it, and, like, started to be around there, like, I probably would have seen her. But, like, or if they had just put Ellen at the nearest waypoint, so that the moment you waypoint in, there's Ellen, and you're like, hey, buddy. But like,
oh god,
I was very confused. I didn't understand what was happening.
Have her as a companion following you, so that she can like mark on the map, right, we're going to go here, they have to make from character creation right through to the point where they open their wallet and buy an expansion as smooth as a baby's ass. It has to be seamless. It has to be perfect. It has to be lubricated to within an inch of its life.
Okay.
We are. Because it does. They have to understand the experience. They have to not feel frustrated by it, or not frustrated in a bad way, rather than intrigued and interested and challenged, but frustrated by a mechanic that seems to. I'm like, I played this on the test realm, and I logged off because I couldn't. I was in and out, and I'm like, no, fuck it, I'm going. I can't be asked with this, and I'll just play it in the live game. I was just that was.
You work it out like when it matters.
Exactly. Yeah. So no, they really have to sort this stuff out.
Yep,
I agree. To see if I can find my face. And I was like, I wonder how I was feeling about this. I kind of don't want to show it. I'm just like, do I need to see that? Let me see if I'm
Funny enough, was whenever I was dealing with that, I actually didn't know she existed until someone in map chat's like, yeah, she's at the beginning of the map. Go talk to her.
Oh no! Oh damn! I really wish I was in your map then. I'm actually upset about that. The thing is, I'm looking right at them. That's the most annoying thing. I just saw it. I'm like, look at my face. I'm just like, this is when I'm annoyed, and I'm just like, where am I actually going now? Like I'm there. She's there. She's right there.
Well, it's even more infuriating.
Constipated.
Oh God,
you really do look mentally.
This is embarrassing. I just literally went past her again, and now I'm going south. No.
I mean, it's so weird because it does say right up there in the corner, speak with Inspector Kiel.
Yes.
So why isn't she marked on the map? Like, I can only imagine this must have been an oversight. Like, there must be an issue where she's not marked. I don't understand why she wouldn't be. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
There's a marker in the south side of the map as well when you zoom out, which is weird, which is where you went waypointed, which is where I waypoint. I even go into the thing and I'm like, yeah, speak to her. Where the fuck is she? Yeah. And I've just seen her like 10 times in the footage. I can't wait for people to comment on that.
I mean, it's definitely an oversight.
It is all it is. Hopefully they'll just add it to the right thing.
I'm gonna go look. I'm actually in Guild Wars 2 right now. I'll go see if there's actually a marker yet.
No, I played this last night, so it's not been fixed.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I played it at it was 12 hours ago-ish. So
never mind.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that the logic here is that, like, from the direction you would have been traveling from Lion's Art, she is standing at the portal that you would be on the map. But again, this is something where we have waypoints. So like, unless someone for some reason has never been on this map and has to run there by foot, like, you know, it's just very weird to me. It's just very strange to me. And like some people, you know, I see in chat, Obi says like, I didn't have a problem with this, and that's totally fair. I think that's totally fine. But the fact that I think all of us had this issue, like, yes, being on stream does make it so that like your attention is divided between many different things. But I mean, like, Jeb, were you recording this last night? I was just recording it. No. I was on my own. Jeb was just recording. Like, I don't think it's something that I think people will miss.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, is there anyone else in chat that can make us not feel stupid right now? Please help us. But yeah, I completely agree. And the reason we're harking on this, and it may not seem like such a big deal to many people, probably people that found it were just like, what are you talking about? The point is, like I said, is if people are having this problem, this is a problem. And it should be something which should be fixed quite quickly, honestly. Because like people are still in the maps talking about this, like, where do I go? What do I do? There's confusion. There are mentors in the map that are actually there just to help people because they're confused now, because it's been a week and a half and we still haven't got a fix for it. And it's just like, the story works, the whole thing works, but it's just broken. Yeah. Like that one thing, there's just not a marker there. And it really does need to be there. Anyway, I'm going to continue. I'm going to pop us over because I think we might have harked on that for a while, and also it's getting quite late. Also,
we have flogged that horse to death.
Yes, it is dead. Yes. We need to talk about the legendary as well. But the story, where are we here? The events, like, it was cool, it was fine, it was nice to see the A for Blades popping up. I had a problem trying to find I think there was a disconnection here for me somewhere. I think I couldn't find the code, or isn't a boat or something. That was just a me moment, honestly. Took a while. I was just walking around and I started reminiscing about like world completion, and I was like, oh, there's a vista, there's an event, and I was like, oh damn, I'm not actually doing the story anymore. But like, that's good. that's actually like a good part of the game. That's cool. And then this is where can you see the bar in the top right hand corner? If you're listening to this, I'm showing footage. I was there, like, and it was just that light sliver, a tiny bit, and I couldn't find where to go, like, to help everyone else continue this event in this video. It's actually kind of embarrassing, but like, I tagged something and I got the event done eventually in the end anyway, but people were kind of seen as me, just like, where do I go? And then I ended up finishing this. So that was one event, but look at how much the bar had gone up. Like nothing, just from doing these random events. It just felt really disconnected from what we were supposed to be doing, generally. So that felt a bit.
It also didn't really tell us which events to do, did it?
It just said do events in the zone. So technically, it was right, but also, it didn't really progress much, so it didn't really feel like you actually were getting anything from doing those events. I don't know.
I think we've covered. I mean, yes, I think that bit needs to be looked at for sure.
A for Blade, but now we're in the instance. Boom. The instance was good. Fractal stuff. I was literally going through it. I was like, this is the fractal, isn't it? And then I was like and then I was remembering this was going on YouTube.
I also noticed that in the fractals they changed the dialogue from Trin.
Did they?
They did to the voice actor.
The voice actor is different, and then the things that they say during the fight is completely different. So it's in the fractal.
Wait, they changed the fractal, and they changed the story?
They changed the fractal.
Okay. I have no idea. I don't do fractals much. So I'm like, damn it.
I mean, I said it before, but I'll say it again. Having the actual context of what this was, as I like watched it on your screen, of the entire throughput of who we were chasing, how these two connected, the fact that they even were connected, the fact that they were originally all one thing, the atmospherics in this, I guess, mini dungeon, this instance, just are so cool. Like, and having the context of everything else, there's that one part where you kind of like walk across don't know, it's like a rocky ledge or something, and there's this light coming down and like the lantern hanging low and the water like rushing up and all these ships, and it's so like ghostly and haunting. And I just loved it. And then seeing even that design and some of the way that their hideout is structured, then even correlates to like the hideout that we see in End of Dragons that they've built, and like has such a great callback to it. And then at the very end, if you go onto the ship, there is like a little bonus piece of lore, like a little tidbit of like a message, a letter that, oh, what's his name? The Norn, that's her second in command until we kill him. Horik.
Yeah.
There's a note from Horik to my Trin, and he is it's just really good. And like he says something about like having seen a stray cat and how they maybe, you know, they could have it on the ship. He didn't think anybody would mind. He knows that Mai is like really fond of them. And I like, it was just such great little storytelling for things that tie in later, and to actually see it the way it was supposed to be made me just view this in a completely different way, to the point where I said it earlier, but I really mean it. I thought this was totally new. I thought like I had to double take when I realized that it was actually the fractal in that final fight, because it just hit so differently, having the actual context of what was happening and how it fit into Scarlet's War. So I really appreciated that. I would love if they would take some of those little moments, like that tidbit with Horik. I know they're working on a lot of other stuff right now, but sometimes I feel like they hide really good character moments behind like little letters and things.
Yeah.
And I would just like to see them in a cutscene, or like see some dialogue that actually happens. Like I stand behind a door and I see them having this exchange, because there's so much characterization in this game, and so much detail and love that goes into it. But like, I think they're always a little bit nervous about being too heavy-handed with the cinematics of the game. But I think we really need more of that to get a better sense of certain characters. I mean, like, I particularly think of, oh my gosh, my brain is so spacey right now. Our new agender friend.
Shit.
I know who you're talking about.
I can't remember the name. Bollocks.
Why can't I remember right now?
Yeah. The
engineer. Somebody in chat's gonna get it.
We're all just like broken right now.
My brain is just completely gone. Yao.
Nice one.
Like, Yao was a character where I really feel like we needed some more character moments with them, and there's a lot to learn about them if you like do some little supplemental stuff, but you know, so much that's there that we just don't get to actually like see in a way that most players will just pick up on in the moment as they go through the story, you know? So
I agree.
It's true. I mean, I think a lot, I not knowing what those limitations are, I wonder if I think cost is always a thing with the voiceovers, right? And then animations, but I get what you mean. Like there is something funny, you read it, and it almost feels like the UI thing we were talking about earlier. It's hidden away so much so that you don't get to witness this awesome little thing. I think they do that, and I'd like the reward of finding out about a story and stuff like this sometimes, because sometimes it's about like, oh, not many people know this, but at the same time, we've talked about it. So true, but you're right, you're dead on. Yeah.
I will say, so at the end of Dragons, you can have conversations with the people at Arborstone, and I think that's nice. I like that. They've been adding that. They've been adding that for a very long time. I just think that we need a little bit more. And if the conversation can only be text based, so be it. But let us have a let us have a little window into their souls as they interact with one another, like passing conversations. I really do like that. World of Warcraft has that. They've got this stay a while and listen, and you click it and the characters move around and they have conversations with one another, and they're talking about current events or their personal lives, and then they will just wander back after where they were stood before, where it's quest givers in the scene. But it gives so much life and it gives so much context, and I think that if you want players to be like invested in the story, you have to show them who these people are, because if we don't know who they are, how can we care for them?
I agree.
There you go. Very true. What was it like going back and doing this fight, Malcolmist? You enjoying this little fight? We can see when I say this fight, also audibly, it is what's his name? The Asura Inquest. Yeah, that's it.
I think his name is Frizz.
That's right.
I do fractals a lot.
Oh, so for you, it's just like, oh god.
It was kind of surreal because I knew how the fight would go. I knew the dialogue from doing fractals a lot.
Yeah.
And it was surreal being able to see the beginning of where it originated all the way up to that boss. Mm-hmm. Because usually we only see like the small section with the bombs and the cave. Yeah. And like you start there and you go all the way up into this boss, you kill the ads and everything, and then that was it. But then you saw the context of why you're actually there. And so when I remembered, because I didn't actually remember this boss fight, I only remembered that like through fractals and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I do remember the setup where we saw all the waves crashing and the awesome lighting and all that kind of stuff, like what Rook was saying. And it's just, I think that blew me away for the second time, because I was sitting there just, you could even watch it on stream where I was just sitting there looking at the waves like, this is so cool. And I'm like, I even commented how I also said that in the season 1 when I first played it. So it definitely made a huge impact on how I viewed story and stuff too. So, but I really do love the way that they've wrapped the fractals in small ways, but like was able to still connect the story in some way. So
yeah, I completely forgot about everything. So I was like running through, I was like thinking before, oh yeah, fractals, cool. This is
and
this is like,
then after the boss, like after you kill the boss and you go right up to my Trin, and you kind of just forget about that. So
yeah. And this is when they brought them in. Like, so they brought fractals in really early into the game. I completely forgot about that. Ascended was a little bit later. Oh, I can't remember if they brought Ascended in. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was just reading chat. But yeah, no, these parts aren't in the fractal, right? They're not. This part isn't in the fractal anyway. There's bits in between that we're revisiting. I'm pretty sure anyway.
Yeah, it's mainly the bosses.
Yeah, it's mainly the bosses. So this bit isn't. And then you can find the 5 books in this bit as well, and you can just, whatever.
Well, technically you can go around here because you have to go to an NPC to buy the books for the legendary back piece. So you have to go in this area, but you don't see like the waves crashing. You don't see the story like setting. You just see that area.
Right, okay. Interesting.
Can I answer the chat?
Sure.
So yeah, I've played Diablo. I love, so in Diablo what they have is you can collect tomes as you play through the story, and then you click on the tome, and then as you're playing it narrates it, so it tells you the story, and they've got fantastic voice acting. That whatever you think of Blizzard as a company, Diablo is a storming story and a storming game, and just don't play Diablo Immortal because
I've actually got that. I'm playing that on Sunday. I'm like, we're gonna play it and we're gonna roast it. We're gonna roast it.
No, the story is fantastic and the game looks fantastic. Just hammered nails into your wallet so you can't open it.
I'm not gonna. I can't afford to do that. I'm a student at the end of a grad student. They're not gonna let me.
It's predatorily monetized to the nth degree. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. But no, I actually wasn't talking about that. That's something that they actually, Guild Wars did with the crystals for Aureen's sibling. Remember, you clicked on the crystal, you go to the site, and then it narrated what was happening. And I actually suggested that ages ago to be able to add more story, have like a separate narrator, so that when you could collect books about the area, and then it can be narrated to you as you're adventuring through. So it's a nice like commentary as you're going through. So
that would be cool.
It specifically in game at the moment. I think they've had this since the Battle for Azeroth or something like that, which not a great expansion in terms of gearing.
It was not.
The story delivery was better. The zone story was actually cohesive and interesting with interesting characters. They just completely fucked up their gear progression. They just put it through a grinder and just yeah, people were not happy.
Yeah.
But yeah. It was honestly it was a clusterfuck, and they stopped. They used to have fantastic tier sets, so every time each raid would come up, and each class would have an individual tier set, which was great, and you can collect them, and people do that. That's all they do. They collect like gear sets in the game, and then they just burnt that and scattered the ashes across the community, running naked through the fields. So that's fine. You do, burn your own house down. That's, you do you, boo.
Cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, yes. Burn down that $1 billion company.
WoW anymore, even though it was a beta, or not beta, vanilla. So.
Yeah.
Oh, it was okay. So rings and back items were introduced with the Lost Shores and were originally available in Fractals of the Mist, November 16th, 2012. Ascended. Thank you, reader, for the article bit. Amulets were introduced with Flame and Frost Prelude, January 2013. Accessories were February 2013. Weapons were introduced with Super Adventure Box for Ascended in 2013 September.
Wow.
Oh, damn. So we actually waited for a whole year. Almost. Yeah, no, over a year for the whole Ascended everything to come in. It was over a year to December the next year. Wow.
I also know they changed the fractal system. Like, it used to be completely different from what it is now.
Yeah. It's a completely different beast, the game, to what it was when it launched, and they had to like shift everything because they really wanted that one-off kind of unique experience, never repeatable, and the community was like, nah, go back, you fucked up. We want something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In game changes in development and the mindset of how things are structured, like it happens in every single MMO. Huge changes, small changes, things that people will not even remember. Like there'll always be those because it's just the nature of how games evolve and how player bases respond to them, particularly in MMOs, right?
Yeah.
So it's just nice to actually see them go back and do what they can to try and smooth some of these transitions. Like this living season, for all the critiques that we had about some of the markers and, little things like that, maybe the little thing I mentioned about dialogue or stuff, honestly, I have loved both episode 1 and 2 because it just so fundamentally has helped me bridge the gap in the important development, not only narratively, but in many other ways in this game. I mean, we have these fractal versions of this. We have our content as it is now, and I'm really hoping that they continue to use this as like a window of opportunity. Even like I was sort of mentioning earlier, if they decided to revamp Lion's Arch, the old Lion's Arch had a whole bunch of new helpful things for players and new players, like whatever they decide to do and however they're revamping this new player experience, like now is definitely the time to be putting this in, getting people in, and then smoothing out as much of that, those little bumps in the road where maybe it's more or less noticeable that over the years this has been super overhauled, or this is totally different now, so that it feels like one continuous experience for players that they understand, can build on, feel empowered in, and then can really engage with and enjoy fully without having to like constantly do the wait for it, I swear it's gonna be really good. Wait for it, but you're gonna get mastery. Wait for it. Strikes are down the road, wait for it. Like it's so I think that that's so important, and this season definitely feels like they are really making an effort to do that, and a lot of really good things have been put in with it, and are being implemented into the game right now.
That's actually incredibly heartening to hear that you, who didn't experience it, are getting so much out of this new experience, because it doesn't matter how well, so like someone like me who's made countless like recaps and retelling the story of Scarlet and trying to give it as much granular detail as possible, there is nothing like playing through it to be invested in it. You can't simulate that.
No, you need to have that personal experience, which is why they did it in the first place, and they needed to. I'm going to push this.
Season 1 too. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
No, go. You're going to be the last point about this.
Okay. The thing I was going to say was that there was a window that there was just like an empty space in the story, and I feel like it was a really good idea to bring back season 1, mainly because we did have that window that nobody could see what was in, and so being able to, like Brooke said, bridge that gap and complete the story so that people didn't have to go to YouTube to find the 2-hour-long episode of just watching what happened, or just doing the recap. It's really nice that they're going back and bridging that and making it so that that window is no longer black, basically.
Okay. So. Good point. Good point. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's so important. It's so important. Okay. End of the episode. We go back to the pub. We know that what's her name did the thing. Trin. Sorry, very British. That was. That was very English. What's her name did the thing, and we're back in the pub. Cool. Logan is there. And this is a really bad story recap, but we know, and basically we know what's going on, and obviously we know that there's going to be future adventures potentially in the future. It was a really, really good end to the story. The thing I really liked about being in the pub as well was the fact that again they did have the markers over the top of people's heads, so they can continue talking to them, and then they had Ellen and Magnus talking, and that is the start of putting her in for the captain position. And they talk about, you know, how he is the one who's put her forward, and just makes these cheeky comments. And there's obviously there's Marjorie's their stuff is just awesome. I took screenshots a lot. It's just like screenshots of people. But yeah, does anyone else want to say anything about this part? I mean, it's just really about the end of the story, like how you felt overall. Was it good? Did you enjoy it? Did you have fun?
I really liked the dialogue about the election, because it doesn't really cover, but it kind of like insinuates what could be coming for the future, like the whole election thing, and how Ellen Keel and Evan Nashblade were head to head, and so it's a really cool way to insinuate that something is coming. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it reminded me as well. That was nice little touch. I did like that. Harold and Rook, you were happy? You were fine about it? That's good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good job.
I loved it. Cool. I think maybe episode 1 might have felt like it covered more ground, and you know, was maybe a little bit bigger in scope for me. But I honestly think both episode 1 and 2 were well implemented, and I'm so happy to have really gotten some time with the characters that we were much needed. So much needed time there to get to know them and get to establish who they are in the overarching story. So I think it was a great second episode.
Cool.
All I'm going to say is I hope that we get a revote, because I really want the Abaddon fractal. Like really sick.
Yeah.
Please bring the Abaddon fractal.
I wonder about that. Yeah, I wonder if so the vote is, so it was Evan Nashblade, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you don't know what we're talking about, people who are listening or watching a stream live or on YouTube or wherever, there was basically, you'll find out what's going to happen, because it must be put in there somewhere. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. I'm assuming a new different, because it wasn't in an instance, so they can just redo that, but they won't have the bit, I don't think. But basically we had to pick between 2 people who were nominated to be the captain of, what was the thing called? I can't remember.
Captain's Council.
Captain's Council, that's it.
After the murder, which was the whole point.
Exactly, yes. And so basically Ellen's been put forward, as well as Evan Nashblade, and we got to vote as players who to put in. We got choice, basically the vote, if whoever you voted for player wise, like we would have got reduced waypoint costs and a specific fractal, or repair costs and specific fractal. And the Abaddon one didn't get in. Everyone voted for Ellen. It was Ellen, right? Ellen got it. Ellen did one, right? I was upset because Evan is my friend. You know, he passed his new. I'm sure he's very happy in his new place. And yeah, so it would be interesting to see, because I'm wondering whether or not they ever got anywhere with production on that Abaddon, on that fractal.
Sure.
And if this is the time,
because that would be really cool.
If they're going to do it now, if they were going to do it any time, then this is the perfect time. This is the time to do it. But they've got so much other stuff going on. But It would really be awesome.
Here's a question. Flash to bang, how long did it take for them to introduce the new fractal? Because that will tell you whether they had both of them lined up, right?
No idea. I mean, the fractals, that first fractal was based off an instance that it already had in the game. They were already planning to do anyway, so it was like a thing. They're recycling content right now, aren't they? Which is the best idea, really, honestly. Like, for production time, just recycle stuff. With Abaddon, it's got to be completely brand new, so it's just a very different process, right?
If we're in the zone of Daddy, I Want a Pony, I would love them to use the fractals. Sorry, I would love them to use the fractals to explore the character's past, stuff that we haven't seen. So, like, for example, how Jury became a detective in the first place. So she was in the Guard. There was a murder of a child that she investigated, and she found out that someone was implicated in that, and that kicked her out, and she never solved the case. And I would love to be able to go and play that in game. I want to see that, and I want to see the fall of oh my god, why is my Kaz's family? So her father getting put in prison, her brother falling to alcohol. You could experience that story through the fractals. You really could. And it's an interesting story. That's the whole why she isn't Lady Kazmir anymore is a major part of her character development. Yeah. You know, we could go back and look at like Bram being raised by his father alone, and his father choosing not to tell his mother when he was dying. That was forced upon him. Air didn't have a choice. So if you don't know the story, you're not like deep into the lore, you don't get that context. You think that she is a wayward parent. You think that she is this airy person who doesn't care about her son, when the truth of the matter is a choice was taken away from her. So it gives us more context, and we care more about the characters when we know who they are more. Again, I'm just rattling on at the same point.
It's okay. We've got to go. We've got to go over to the legendary variants. I'm very just trying to think about people's time. Okay, so
fine. Also, sorry about the snark before. I didn't mean to be so snarky.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
What, you being snarky? I have never. What?
Shit.
In a nice way.
Nice. Oh God, sad face.
In a nice way. The other reason we're here today, we're not going to rattle too much on about legendary variants, because I feel like I only really am concerned about one thing, because that's where I got to, unfortunately, and I haven't really looked past there because I'm very selfish. But I did make a legendary Aurine weapon. I have the mace, and I was like, ooh, I have the mace. It looks very cool, by the way. I realized that not many classes use mace, and I want to have a legendary weapon for everything on my engineer, so I was like, screw it.
Right.
In anticipation for the variant, for the new skin, for the new shit, as they say. But like, I was unfortunately hit by something which was unfortunate in my travels. I wanted to bring up something of relevance, but it's not going to work. You have to, so basically Gen 3 legendaries in Guild Wars 2 weapons wise, we are going to get skins which represent the dragons. And the first one is, what's the first one called?
Zhaitan.
Of Shadow and Death. That's right, the Zhaitan one. They're cool. They look good. They're just different. You don't have to get the whole legendary again. You just have to do some stuff, and yeah, cool. It's going to be easy. It's going to be great. It's going to be simple. It's going to be, fun, engaging, enjoyable, adventurous. Adventure is a word. It's just, I'm selling it right now. There was a massive blog post that you had to read, which was really fun. I wasn't happy immediately. It was a very quick unhappiness. I'd planned this massive stream to do this thing, and then I was like, no, I'm not doing it because it's boring. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to get 10,000 research notes. I'm sorry. I just hate that whole mechanic. It is the worst thing in the game. I want it to disappear. I want it to go. I hate it. I hate research notes. They are the worst. But like, okay, the legendary in the first place only needed 2,500, something like that. This you need 10k, and people are like, I'm on Twitter. I was like, emotional damage, yeah, that meme completely. I'm a bit overreacting, and people will say I'm overreacting because I am a little bit, but. On Twitter, I said this. A lot of people argue, and then people were like, you know, it's okay. It only costs 500 gold and 15 minutes, and you can get the 10,000 research notes. Dude, I just made legendary. I don't think I've got 500 gold. I do, but like, do you think everyone's got 500 gold left? Like, why do you want to sit there clicking this thing forever? I know they did the research stack now or whatever, but like, I'm just like, my point is, that is not fun for me.
No.
The thing I did like was that it was different currencies. At least there was the gold, there's the karma. That's cool. That's fine. The karma is a lot, but like you earn karma pretty easy in the game. You can do that. Yeah. And then the fish, whatever that thing's called, that's cool because it engages you in wanting to do things. Like that made me want to go out and do the fishing achievements because I didn't want to spend money. I was like, I can just go and get these. I can go and go in the achievements. I know I can get these from fishing. Oh, cool. And now I'm like picking up all this different stuff. I'm going to old zones. I'm getting fish and getting achievement points. All links together. Nice. Like it. That's not too bad. Or you can just go buy off the trading post. Fine. That's okay. 10,000 research notes. Like my heart just fell. I was like, dude, can I not do something else? Like, do I have to do this?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird number, especially because like you'd think it would be 2,000 per, but it's not.
So
it's just weird.
To be clear, there's no Zhaitan story linked to the Zhaitan weapon.
I don't know. That's where I got. Like, I'm actually at the point where I was really hyped about going to Ore. Like, that's the next bit, right? And doing the events. Like, that's the thing I wanted to do. I was excited. Like, I was so hyped about this. I was like, shit, I'm going to go back to like Ore. Ore was my favorite zone. I always talk about it on the podcast about the temples, like farming the temple events and stuff. And I get to go back there and kind of do that. I don't know, because I'm scared to think about it and look it up because I don't want it to be shit. Like, I just don't want it to be bad. And like, I really was excited about this. I'm not going to joke, like, out of any game and anything I've been excited for recently, I've really been excited about this, and I was really let down. I felt really sad. Like, I was on stream and I had this plan. I was gutted. I was just like, I felt like a child. It was so bad. And I know it's really pathetic. It feels a little bit pathetic, but I did feel really crappy about it. I was like, oh no. I felt sad. It made me sad.
It's about done.
I don't understand the price on these. I'm going to share something with all of you here that I have not shared with anyone else.
Oh, hello.
Ooh, spill the tea.
I don't know how to get research notes. I don't even know. I think they're for Jadebot, but that's where they tell you how to. Thing. Now hold on.
No.
That's how they tell you. That's how they tell you first about them, I think, because went to the Jadebot vendor, and then at the vendor I was like, okay, I'm gonna get some things to put in the new Jadebot that I got. And then all the ones that were in there were a tier 2 high that I couldn't use. And then I saw something about research notes to get ones that are smaller, but then I never did it, and so I only put the one module that they gave me into my Jadebot, and I've never put any other modules into a Jadebot. And
it's okay, but you know what? It's no judgment. No, seriously, no judgment at all, because I genuinely believe, Rook, that I genuinely believe that a lot of people in the player base are probably right there where you are.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that, because I feel like something was just disconnected for you, where you're just like, no, it's too much. It's too much bollocks to go through.
I want to take a second here because I see Obi in the chat, and I know Obi, and I know Obi's just sassing me, but I actually hate this comment, and I want to talk about it. You have to play the game to understand what this is.
That's not fun though.
But the thing is that, like, I don't think that's a good statement because I do play the game and I did play the game. So here's the thing. I can easily learn what research notes are. Like, this isn't to say that this is because, like, oh, the game's so impossible. No, like, yeah, I can look it up on a Wikipedia. I can ask somebody in the chat. I can ask any of you, like we're talking about right now. But here's the thing. Just playing through the expansion, just experiencing through things, did I, coming out of it, have a clear-cut understanding of this new thing? They are new, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the problem as well, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I'm like, did I have a clear-cut understanding of this new foundational currency that has been introduced, that I would know how to even go about getting 10,000 research notes? Did I have a moment in the story where, like, I needed to get research notes for something and they had me do the thing and learn about it and do the, like, I guess Jadebot is the closest, but did I get a clear-cut understanding of how to do that from whatever happened? No, I didn't. So it's like, as a player, I can get this information, but if you are introducing something that is going to be so foundational to your new expansion, and that, like, with these legendaries, because it really seems like they are trying to encourage players to engage with the legendary system for the first time ever, right? Like, if they haven't, because we had all of the Return to stuff where they were like getting you prepped and getting you the precursor and getting you all these things. We have this new vendor, we have the new Arborstone thing, we have all this stuff where it really feels like they're empowering you. We have these new variants, they're coming out as like a new feature thing, and you're going to go back and you're going to revisit old zones. I, as a player that has never completed a legendary, and it's always been on my to-do list, I really do want to do it. I have always felt very overwhelmed by the process, and very much like I will be made by many people to feel very silly about the fact that I've never done a legendary, or that I don't know how to do a legendary, or that I don't have 1,000 gold, or that I don't have, like, to me, it has always felt like this kind of intimidating thing. And I have felt at the most empowered that I think I ever have in making a legendary, with the ways that they have kind of incentivized me in leading up to and in End of Dragons to make one, to want to make one, to want to get the variants. But then we have this weird thing, research notes, that are prohibitive to people that even know how to do it, because 10,000 apparently is 1 billion. Like, so it's one of those things to me where it's like, you shouldn't have to be like, well, you should just have 500 to 1,000 gold and buy it and just do it. Like, I should, coming out of this expansion, if they really want to empower players, know without a doubt what research notes are, how to use them, how to get them, and have already rolled this into my flow of what I'm doing in this expansion.
Would be cool.
And
Yeah.
like, I agree that some of it is the fact that I have not gone out of my way to learn all of this. Like, that's absolutely fair. There's only so much hand-holding ArenaNet can do. But if this is going to be like a really foundational, massive system for this thing that you're clearly trying to push players toward, then, like, I do think I need to have a better understanding, even at a glance, of what's happening.
Yeah,
I think it's a fundamental failure of the mechanics of the game and how they're showing us. If you have to go outside the game to figure out what you're supposed to do, there's so it's like, so these research notes, you use them to sort of disassemble things that you personally have created or that have been crafted in some capacity, but not all of them. And there's no indication, there's no way of finding out. There's no magical ball that you can, like, test to see if this is how, what you can craft, how much it gives you. It is a fundamental failure. And the only reason I know how these goddamn awful things work that just make things feel awful and clunky is because I had to craft a load of gear to do a video. I would not have interfaced with them otherwise, right?
Yeah.
So no, it's a fundamental failure. If your player base is having to jump outside the game to figure out how the hell they're supposed to interact with the thing that you want them to interact with, that's bad game design on your part. That's you not giving your players enough information. And it shouldn't be 17 pages of reading to get that.
It is... Respectfully, of course. We're not like shitting on the internet here, but that's not what we're doing. we're talking about our
personal opinion.
Yeah, and just be like, I'm talking about a system which, in all honesty, does feel crappy. It does. It just does. Thank you, Rook, as well. Like, for being genuine and authentic enough to be vulnerable and talk and say that. I know it might sound weird for me to say that, but a lot of people have their thoughts and feelings. I get that when I'm making legendaries, and sometimes someone says something in the chat and I'm like, I don't know how to do this and I feel stupid, and then someone will say something and I'm just like, fuck you, dude, and under my breath. And no, actually, I'll say it. But the research notes, the reason why I wanted to understand them myself was because I did want to check out the bot, and I wanted to put a video out about it as well. And it ended up being this really long, convoluted thing of just research notes essentially are just a currency that you use in the game to unlock a lot of different things. Skins, a legendary, for the Aurene legendary, unfortunately, and other stuff. It's a really convoluted way of getting research. So what you do is essentially you use a salvage kit on an item that has been crafted, and it will give you a certain amount of pages that are called research notes. There are different versions of these pages which will give you, so you might get a book which gives you 10 pages or some shit, and I'm like, why? Why am I researching armor that I made 10 years ago? Why am I using a salvage kit on a piece of armor that I made 8 years ago to get 50 research notes? What is the link here? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? I don't understand.
I love that Pornax put the timer on when you started describing it, and it was like just spinning endlessly in the background. But
I just don't get it.
I actually like that in theory, now that you spell it out for me.
Really? I do not.
Here we go. Well, here's what I mean. Here's what I mean, though. Like, think back to earlier how we were talking about the framing of even the quest markers. If this frames it in such a way that it describes to me this is this, I understand and can receive it. I like the idea of these research notes. If they had framed it as a new incentive for crafting classes, where they had been like, hey, we know that as a crafter, unless you're just crafting something that's like, a fashion piece or something interesting, that you don't really have a lot of reasons anymore to be actively crafting stuff or making these things, or so we want to give you a reward. If you are somebody that enjoys crafting, gathering, working on these kinds of mats, making these things, expanding your catalog. So what we're going to do now is a new system so that with crafters, if you're crafting this gear, now just like you would maybe make something and then take it apart and then make something and then take it apart, you're going to learn through this process. You're going to research the gear that you're making, and you will get these new currencies that will now empower you to get this new cool stuff and craft new legendaries and do new things. But because it was tied into Jade bots, I thought it was just something for Jade bots at first. And then I didn't understand why I couldn't even get any of the upgrades from the vendor that would have been my tier 1 things that I needed. And then I was like, this is so weird. Whatever, I'll figure this out later. And to me, if there had been some kind of bridge of that gap, and if they weren't so ridiculous, the amounts weren't so ridiculous, and if it had been something even not that this is something necessarily they would have to do, right? But even if they had kind of been and now for the different thresholds and in different cities all around the world, if you have crafted stuff and broken it down, or at certain tiers, if you've crafted this kind of gear that would have been 1 to 50 in the core zones or something, now you can go to these bonus vendors and you can get stuff for the research note, the research notes there or something. I think that would have been, I don't know, to me that would have felt more like a system that I would understand as a package.
Well, so what they did with the research notes is that when they came out, first of all, to get research notes, people just basically used salvage kits, which are specific kits you use, and they just used them on potions and stuff that you could just buy that was just available from events. So after a while, they knew that, people were able to do it in this easy way, and it wasn't really intended. It wasn't the way they intended it to be. So they started cutting out items. Now what you do is you just find the most stuff you have, or you change like stats on ascended gear, or you just craft the same thing over and over and over and over again. So like it's not even if it is like the way you sold it just then, it sounds great, and that's how I imagined it. But when you go through the process, it's just boring. It's just boring, monotonous. It's boring as hell, and it was enough for 20k research, for 2k research notes. It was already dull, and I'm sure I can go and make exotic items. I can go and do all the stuff, the same thing over and over again. It's just boring. It's just dull, and it can take me 15 minutes. It can take me half an hour. The point is that I want that experience of getting a variant for a legendary weapon that I spent a lot of time trying to make and like think about, or like even just warming up to be a special experience. And people can be like, oh, so cringe and all that kind of stuff. No, fuck you. I want like my legendary weapon that I've spent like a lot of time and effort and is very unique, not many people have, to be a cool experience. And I'm like, yeah, sick. Now it's like the dread, like this Zhaitan thing. Like, even if I just had to go back and do the story again and just do that last instance, even though it's a pain in the ass, that would have been better. I would much prefer to do that. Whereas now I'm spending like loads of random, the same map that I've got 50 million times, so I can get 10,000 research notes, and like, so then I can engage in the next part of this awesome journey, which already has been shat on. And I'm just like, it's already put this like taste in my mouth of is this what the others are gonna be like?
It should have been not good. I feel like they should have had obviously had the research notes for the Arene version, and then because that's the base one. And I feel like everything else should be based off a story, strictly off a story, because that's where it's from. That's our history of the game. So I feel like
the zone, at least
adding more hurdles to get over. It doesn't really make any sense. Just make the variations are based off of achievements where you can get through story or get through the map or do stuff like that. And then make the base one where you have to get all the currencies and stuff like that, which makes sense because you have to. Every other legendary you've ever made would require the currencies. So
yeah.
What if? Oh my gosh, this would have been so cool. For next, I was thinking about what you were saying earlier about them making more use of. I mean, it's sparse storytelling, but it is still something that is interesting. We had Vlast's crystals. Why not for this have something where, like, if you went to Ore and you did these events or you did these key things, you then got, like, I don't know, like a piece of, you know, whatever lingering magic was left, like, you know, an echo of Zhaitan. And like, as you did each of these, you would hear something from him, the creature, the entity, the being that he was, like, outside of the corruption and the other things that had happened. And like, I understand that is, again, bringing in voice actors, bringing in stuff like that. That's a whole thing, having to cast any of these characters that weren't voiced, all that kind of stuff. But like, gosh, even just 5 new lines from him, and I would have been like, anything. I would have been so interested. And like, we get these little tidbits of lore from the variants themselves where you get like some new insight into the thing, or like the different base Arene weapons, the insights that she has. I adore that, but like, would I be so much more compelled to become exclusively a legendary creator streamer where like we were going through every single one and I was gonna get that dialogue, so help me, from like
wow.
Like I have literally been, anytime I run the final meta, I have been recording the dialogue snippets. I know they're already recorded. I know people already have the files. But like, for me, that is something that is incentivizing to me. Even having one more facet into the world and something that feels special that I uncovered. Like, so yeah, even if they had upped the base ones, the research notes there, so that you did all that boring stuff, got it out of the way, I would figure out what it was, I guess, and then do it. Like, and then you got to do the more fun stuff after that as a reward, even if there were other time investment things you had to do for it. Yeah. I think that would have really made people want to do it and, you know, try to even get all of the different versions of the legendaries as they are so that they then could unlock all of the other ones down the road and have this ongoing content and little tidbits of story and this little sneak peek in that you wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yep.
I agree with Mal. Look, you should not have to spend a single solitary copper more on changing the look of it. It should all be fantasy-based story. You have just done this. It is a Herculean task to create a legendary weapon. It takes a massive amount of time and resources.
But you're selling it to Rook right now.
Sorry,
They made legendary. It's really hard.
but it's a marathon, right?
It's worth it, though. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Especially with all the changes now, it is unlocked right across your account. You can change whatever stats that you want on it. You never lose anything that you put into it. If you can, they're so worth it. They're the best type of gear you can get right across the account. So yeah, I love the legendaries. They're very difficult and they should be difficult to make. But once you have crafted a legendary, these should be the cherry on top. These should be the lore nerds. This should be the icing that makes people want to make specifically Aurene legendaries, not because it's twice the grind just to change the appearance. That is not incentivizing for me, especially because the lore that if there was like a massive lore payoff, if there was like an entire cutscene when you get these things, maybe that justifies standing there for a week clicking a button to get some research notes, which is not.
They've done the stack now, right? Like that was another problem as well. So you had to click one for every single one. So if you were making potions that stacked, you had to do.
I made all of the Jade stuff, so I have slight carpal tunnel now. That's fine.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that not even a joke. That would have been prohibitive to me. I have been dealing with really bad ulnar neuritis, which is carpal tunnel, but for a different nerve, the ulnar nerve in your arms. And like, I actually have to. I even had somebody recently say, like Rook, I love your videos, but why are you clicking your abilities? And I was like, well, because I have to pick or choose at any given time how I'm dividing up the load of what I'm doing. Can I do all my keybinds with one hand, or is that hand really bad today? Can I click sparsely on like just 4 abilities on the right side and divvy up the load on my hand so that I can literally move my fingers to keep playing the game? Great, that I'm gonna do that. But like, I have had problems recently where there have been a couple games. Was this 14? What was this? Something where I was having, it was 14. I was opening up lock boxes in Eureka. They make you click every single one. And I like had to stop and take breaks. Like, it feels so silly, but like, this is just what my body decided to do because I play games all day, every day. And whether it's genetic or whether it's whatever, like it actually affects the way that I can play games, the duration that I can play games, the type of content that I can do in games. So like, yes, that would have been a huge roadblock for me if I had gotten to that point with the research notes. Like, I would have had to call my partner and be like, can you click this button for me for a week? Bye, thanks. I love you.
Yeah, I remember getting that. I remember that was a big problem. I got that during Guild Wars too. I had a brace and everything, but after a while, thankfully, I got these melded like gel things that I'm just attached to like most of the time, like, which helped so much. But like, it doesn't sound like it got to where you are. So I'm sorry about that. That's
okay.
happened.
I mean, yeah, I've had to completely overhaul my entire gaming setup. Like, no joke, like to the point where like I had to get a special ergonomic keyboard. I have a special ergonomic vertical mouse. I have the gel pads. I have a wrist brace. I had to get an ergonomic chair that I can literally like put my arms on, and then had to get covers for the chair. I have to keep a heating pad next to the computer because some days before stream, the pain will be so bad that I'll have to just like put it across the keyboard or wrap my arms to be able to play. Like, so I only talk about this because a lot of times people don't realize this, or they think that like, oh yeah, well, but there's like 2 people that deal with a problem like that, so it doesn't matter if they have to click it or whatever. But like, I never thought I would be dealing with this at 30 years old, you know, but like arthritis and things run in my family, and my partner can play all day, no problems. Me, it got to the point where like I have to literally plan, like I said, what I'm doing around like how my arms are feeling. Do I have to take a morning off? It's hard for even scripting YouTube videos because it's like if I script for too long or if I write for too long, my hands just go completely numb with pain. Like it's the weirdest feeling and it can be really difficult. So like I like to talk about it because I think a lot of times people don't think that it's something that affects many players, but it is important.
It does.
So.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you have to deal with that. I also have I also clicked for a while. Like I did a mixture between clicking and using my keyboard. So I have really small hands. I have really tiny hands. So like I couldn't reach half the keyboard, and so something that I really want people to know is that you don't know people's life stories, and I feel like if you jump on the quick judgment bandwagon and not get to know the person or get to know their personal story and not understand like why they're clicking or why they're doing certain things, then that's on you. But just get to know the person, because like I got teased a couple times for me clicking, and I just said I can't reach half the keyboard. You don't know their stories. So sorry you have to deal with that though. That
oh,
sucks.
it's okay. It's fine. I've got plenty of stuff that like can help with it, but this is also why I encourage everybody, like if you start noticing hand pain, immediately talk to someone, a doctor, a hand surgeon, whoever, do exercises, stretch your hands. Like I drove mine to the point where like it is bad, and but if I had headed it off much sooner, maybe it would not be as bad as it is now. So like, if you notice those things starting, don't just like keep putting them off. Try to do what you can. You do not want to be like me in the morning with my coffee, icing my arms before I'm going to go game. So like, you just don't want to be like this. So, but
thank you, peeps, for talking about yourselves and telling us those things.
Sending hugs. Hugs.
Oh, hugs too. Hugs. But yeah, it's like you can't put a system in like this where you're going to make people do something that is A, boring, and then B, also stuff like this and not do like a breakdown all, or this is a kind of weird system. I like what they were trying to do with it, especially hearing you all talk about it, research notes and everything. But I think it just needs to be adjusted. I think these variants need to be more forgiving in a sense. Even if they upped the core creation, I feel like maybe they kind of thought about it in reverse. Like, we want more people to just try to make the base ones, and then the real special version is the upgraded one. But like, really, when it comes down to it, especially with these dragons, people will very much like a certain dragon. They will like a certain aesthetic. Weapons aren't dyeable. So I think the incentive for getting people to even create these is to make those variants as chill as possible, so that, hey, if I make this one, I'm getting a lot more bang for my buck as far as Fashion Wars goes. So like, and that might even lead people to feel more empowered and want to do other legendaries in the game, because they have an idea.
Rick. Just want it to be fun, like just something really basic. I would just something really basic. I don't even care if it takes me a bit to do. I just want it to be fun. It seems like a really basic thing to request sometimes in games nowadays. It's like, can I just have some fun, please? Right? Like, can I not do this really stupid thing before the step, which is going to be fun? Can I just have the fun? I know that this is just a way of it taking time and trying to get me into the game to appreciate the game. If I stop playing the game because the thing is not fun, that stops me from having future fun in your game. It stops me. It was, anyone that came into the stream that day saw my disappointment. Like a player, and that probably rubbed off on them. I'm not gonna bullshit people about my experiences. I just can't. I suck at lying. I just suck at lying. I'm just not that person. Like, I would be crap as a counselor if I didn't show my genuine authentic self, and it's not something I can turn off, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Which is why I have to apologize people often, because I say a thing and then I'm just like, oh shit, that's not cool. I'm also old. But like, it's sometimes it's just as simple as that. I just want to have fun in the game, and that research thing isn't even the main issue for most people who got past that. Like, apparently there's loads of other shit that went down, and I barely know much about that because I just switched off. But does anyone else know about the ship festival? There was like something broken with the ore events not completing or something.
I heard that there's an event in ore that you have to kill the wizard guy.
Okay.
But in order for him to spawn, you have to let the event to recapture the Ara gate to fail.
What?
For the event to start again, and then you have to escort the people back up the steps. And then you fight the wizard.
Oh, it's so people can farm the wizard.
Yeah, so I would imagine that people not knowing that you had to fail the event in order to spawn the wizard was just doing the event to get a raw open again without realizing that they're not going to get the wizard. So
So the mob you have to kill to get the specific item you need has to be from an event which fails, which is totally opposite from what the game wants you to do in the first place in its original design.
Yes.
Nice.
This is so tough. Because I actually love the idea of this.
Not the failing, though.
I love the idea that events have a win state or a fail state.
Oh, that, of course, yeah.
And I love the idea that, like, things aren't over just because something fails. Like, maybe you do fail to defend a keep, and because of that, a more powerful enemy is able to take up residence there, and then you're able to do. I actually think that kind of design is fascinating.
Absolutely, yeah.
But the big problem for me is that, like, it's utterly unintuitive, exactly like you pointed out, Jebro, to what seems to be the otherwise overall goals of all of the metas, maps, events, every other thing in the game.
I think an easy fix. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, probably an easy fix would be to make it so that a lesser version of the wizard, that you can still get credit for it, but the lesser version of the wizard could be for the escort part, and then you get a more like in-depth fight of a greater wizard if you were to go guard the gate. I feel like
just don't put it with that event at all, and just put it in an event which you succeed in that's just on a timer every hour. Like, just don't do it in an event which has to be. It's just stupid. I'm sorry, it is. It's just fucking stupid. Like, you have to fail something to get something which is belongs to a fucking legendary. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense to my brain. I've not even like heard about this yet, and I'm just hearing it now. So I will be slightly sad, but that is completely awful. Like, that is just another. I don't even want to do this anymore. I'm done. I'm done. I don't care about Zhaitan anymore. Fuck him. I'm out.
Sorry, Fordax, you were trying to say something.
Sorry, Fordax.
During.
I'm done.
What were you trying to
I'm
say?
angry now.
Mal was actually Mal. You finish, hun. I saw you trying to finish your thought.
Oh no, I was just saying that I had to do that for Astrolaria with that event because you had to go kill the wizard for Astrolaria.
The fucking wizard is part of another thing? Oh my god, no! Don't tell me that.
So you have to fail the gate defense in order for it to stop existing, and then you have to go back to like the base camp and then re-escort them back up to the gate, win the gate over, and then kill the wizard, and then you're good.
Oh god. So can I point out something that kind of stands out to me immediately? So you are relying on world events that other people can interact with and completely fuck up for you, so you have no agency over this. You could be there indefinitely, possibly. You have to wait until 4 o'clock in the morning when the map is empty and you like try and solo it with your pet or something.
I mean, that doesn't... Doliac. The Doliac, right? I think it is that.
The wizard is actually really, really difficult, so you actually have to have more than one person to do it.
So it's worse.
Oh, cool.
It's worse than I thought it was. Yay.
Unless you have a super powerful build, it's really hard to solo. But
I think,
I
think they have announced.
I'm just gonna have the sad face now. I'm not taking this off again.
Well, I think they have announced that they are changing it.
Yeah.
So
I think
that is very important. That's very important. I mean, yes, I agree, Mal. I agree with what you said. Like, if you like this wizard enemy that you made that you think is an important bit of lore, or there was some specific reason that they really wanted us to fight this wizard, then adjust the event.
I think it was because he was the reason that you open the gate of Ra, and then you go kill Zhaitan.
Well, I mean, if they like him so much, just let it, have it that you, the individual who is trying to complete the quest, do something to spawn him in another location away so that you don't disturb other people trying to unlock the gates and do their world event, which is, you know, all on a timer, and people get very salty about that kind of shit, which is understandable because, you know, trying to, like, get 20 gamers to do something is like trying to herd cats. Jesus Christ.
You can even put, like, a hero point at the end there and just, like, have it spawn the Grand Wizard, and then kill him from there.
We fixed it. ArenaNet, send us money. We fixed it. Thank you.
There you go.
I think that it's all doubly frustrating because really, truly, genuinely, I adore these legendaries. Like, I think they're beautiful. You all know I've not been coy about the fact that I'm obsessed with the dragons in this game. I love them. Really? Like, now, I know, but like, now more than ever, with the focus on them, with the culmination of this 10-year story arc, like, to me, this is a great opportunity, and I love this new approach to legendaries. I love the idea of having this, you know, base set and then these different versions that unlock. Like, I really, really, really do. I think this is all very, very good. It's just that this process needs to be streamlined and dealt with a little bit. And of course, they are taking player feedback right now for this. Again, these are long-term goals in the game. So all of our feedback on this is not to say that, like, we hate these forever and we think ArenaNet are all dumbos, you know? It's just that it's
positive feedback. It's constructive. It's something that they can use to better the game, and I feel like that's really important. There's a difference between constructive feedback and feedback that is toxic.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. When I said it's a fundamental failure, right? I want to be clear because people might think that I'm a complete bastard, and I can be, but I'm not. It would be extraordinary. It would be miraculous if, in a game of this size and this scale and this scope, that they didn't have any fundamental failures. Would be astonishing. The fact that they have so few in all the long questions, like, you know, like we were talking about fundamentally understanding the mechanics of a thing in the game, right?
Yeah.
It's a hugely, massively, I can't even comprehend how difficult it is for them to get this thing going and forward and to do the things that they do. So please don't think that I'm throwing shade, but there were genuine criticisms, and honestly, I like to make stuff, and I like honest feedback, and I like it to be as brutal. Be brutal. Tell me, no, don't hide the warts and all. Tell me exactly what you think. So, because if you sugarcoat it and you bullshit me, it's hard to self-evaluate, right? It's hard to, especially if you've been doing something and you've been staring at it and you can't see the woods for the trees. So you need someone to come from the outside and go, well, that's great, but God, what were you thinking? Did you, like, take stupid pills that afternoon when you were doing that part? Because that makes no sense, hon. Everything else is beautiful, but do something. Yeah?
Yeah, I feel that
you need that.
Especially with, like, my artwork, like, whenever I'm doing artwork and I feel like something's wrong, but, like, everyone around me is telling me, oh, this is great. I'm like, I feel like something's wrong. Someone please give me a criticism to where I can actually fix it. But, like, I definitely feel like that is pretty relatable.
If only there was a flip the canvas option in game making, right?
Oh God.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yes.
Why is her eye there? Why did I put the eye there? Why does it look like that?
Why is that angle? Why is that angled like that?
I guess that's sort of what PTR does in general. Although, like, how that plays a role in MMOs, I think, is a totally different thing. We could do a whole episode just about talking about that, the pros and cons of public test realms and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm very confident they're responding to this feedback. They have addressed some of these things with this. But yeah, I really hope with the others, because honestly, Jeb, what you said, I think, is just sticking with me. Like, I can do this thing, sure. Do I have the power to just click this button? Sure, theoretically, you know, especially with the full stack breakdown, sure. But is it fun? Like, am I having fun? Is this component enjoyable? And what makes something fun is going to be very specific to to every person that engages with it. But at the very least, I think we want a baseline of like, do I feel like the returns that I am getting for this, like, feel desirable to me? Do I feel as though, the time that I've spent in this is worth the reward? Do I feel like, I come out of this having, even if it was long, even if I'm tired, even if it was a grind, do I come out of it feeling like, yeah? It's like, that can be the difference in this. And so, yeah, having something that is like a huge foundational mechanic that might not have been wholly explained, a la research notes, that, maybe is just clunky to engage with in general and has a lot of weird conditional things that aren't communicated very well, that then has just an unreasonable amount of things that you need to get when you've already done it for one other or, a different step in it. And that doesn't have like a larger system around it that makes this like really rewarding and widely applicable and, an enhancement and a new feature with crafting or, whatever thing that this is sort of being bundled in with. Like, that's where I think we start seeing the fun scales just go like, okay, so I can either do this for 1,000,000 years or I can spend a lot of money to do it. And you never want to be in that kind of position, you know? Like,
it's an arbitrary time sink cock block. That is what it is. Right?
You gotta have something to do. You gotta have something to do.
Great description.
Arena, don't cock block me with the dragons. Tormag whispered in my ear for a whole living season.
It's true. We're gonna start to wind it down a bit. I feel like my energy is being sapped out of me by my own upsetted sadness.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What do you think of the design of the Zhaitan weapons? Is it your cup of tea or moving on?
I could get a video up of it. Go on.
Yeah, okay. I personally don't love Zhaitan's aesthetic the most out of all the aesthetics in the game. Like the kind of undead shenanigan. It sometimes does it for me, but it's, you all know I lean right directly towards Rainbow Sparkle Barf generally. So to me, this one was like, fine. I was a little surprised and not surprised that they seem to, for the most part, some exceptions, but for the most part, follow pretty much the template of the other ones, kind of recolored. There are some little doodads on some of them. There are some that look a little bit more different. But they definitely follow the same kind of framework, which makes sense just from the time constraints and things like that. Was a little part of me hoping that maybe they would really push it stylistically on them. Maybe, especially because you can get really weird and really creepy and really Lovecraftian with Zhaitan, and like there's just so many tentacles and like eyeballs in places eyeballs shouldn't be, and just like a lot of stuff that's funky that happens in there. So like, do I think that these weapons in and of themselves 100% embody like all of the unique artistry of Zhaitan? No. But I think as far as a cosmetic goes, as far as a new look goes, there are some really nice details. I really like that there are options. Like we're watching in the video now, some of the little wiggly tidbits and stuff like that, I think do enhance, So yeah, I feel good about them. They aren't directly my aesthetic, and I think they could have pushed it further, but I do still really appreciate the effects and different things on them.
Mm-hmm. To me, I feel like they should have more green.
You just want more green.
I say that because like whenever you look at Zhaitan, all of the little lizards coming out of his mouth literally are like caked with green.
Okay.
And it's like an undead like green like
miasma.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And so I do like how they look. It's just I feel like they could have more of the colors that the dragon actually has, which they don't have any green. So that's just my opinion.
I really like that focus skin. Actually, that's the skin. It is just a reskin. It's not really the. it's not like a redesign. It's very similar to what the Orion weapon is specifically is. It is directly just a reskin, which I think is going to be very difficult for them to add things, which I think, restricts them a little tiny bit. I agree with what you're both saying. Honestly, I think they could have been more. I think it really could just have more. It really could, like, pop some eyes on there, pop some, like, what, like you were saying, Marcus, like the little thingies coming out of the mouth, just stick one on there, just throw it in. I don't know, have a little bit of a different effect or something else that's different from the Arena Legendary that makes it a little tiny bit more unique, because it just does feel like a copy of it to a degree with something slapped over the top, and I get that that's what that's supposed to be, but there are many weapons that look similar to this, and I don't think the weapon is the cool thing. I think the effect specifically is, and I know that's a lot of the. Does that make sense? It feels like, and it'll be cool when you kill something. It's cool when you kill something with the Arena Legendary, but if I don't go for this, like, I'm gonna go for it just because it's an extra thing, but like I'm slowly being persuaded not to do that by just the mechanics of what it is. And I think it's just a cool option. I mean, it might be that I normally like this kind of stuff, like the more death kind of zombie kind of like really darker like theme. It's just not gonna fit. It just doesn't fit my NG as well, in all honesty. But like I want to get it because I want to get it for the other classes. I could probably use it on my Rev and my Guardian, but I think they're okay.
It looks like a set of weapons that already exist.
Yes.
For like the very beginning set.
I
can't pinpoint it though.
I can't remember what it's called. The set. I know what you're talking about though. Yeah. I think I've got that set as well. There's some other stuff which looks creepier and better as well. Like I'm just like, I think that I would like the effects. Like if you're a necromancer, this is very on theme, like this is cool. And I
like my necromancer to be as fluffy kittens as humanly possible. She looks like an angel. Yeah, so carry on.
I like that gun. I think that one's cool. I mean, I see Excelsior in the chat brought up a good point, which is I always kind of perceive these variants as Arene channeling these various, sort of energies. So I do, like, again, I didn't expect them to create all new models for every single one, right? Yeah. Like, it's not like I ever really expected that. I do agree that, like, even if they just put some, like, weird dragon eyes on it that, like, opened up and, like, looked, it doesn't have to be wildly over the top, but I do think that would have maybe made it a little bit more distinctive. I like the weird kind of, like the wing joints and the kind of like strange little bits that they've put on there, some of the spikes and stuff like that. But yeah, I think maybe there could have been a little bit more. I mean, overall though, I do think it's still a good adaptation, and again, I don't think I would care at all. I think I'd be like, yeah, these are great if it had literally just been like not 10,000 research notes, and then you go and you do some cool stuff and you do some story things, and then you get these and you get the new color and the variation and the you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels like to me, if they were going to set it up as being, I'm so bad at math, so one of you is going to have to do this for me. However many times more, 2,000 to 10,000, however many times more, like that's times blank.
Well, 16.
What are you talking about, Rick?
I know.
You know what I'm trying to say?
No. More. It's too many times more. That's what it is. Yeah.
So is that 32? Is that 32,000 research notes base?
What are you talking about?
Somewhere in the distance, my math inclined partner is screaming.
And then there's 10,000.
Like, how do you not know?
It by what?
Well, because I'm asking what the proportional times of effort is. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is 2 times more effort. This is 6 times more effort. Mal's over here like, I got it, math, I'm ready.
Right.
See it. I see the math glint in your eye. Me, I was like, I immediately went, I'll have to figure out how many. Brain gone. Goodbye. Don't want to. Don't feel like it.
I saw that. I did see
that. So it's like, that is a pretty huge leap. However many more 5 times, I don't know. However many more times that is. It's like, when I look at these, are they worth to me 4 times the amount of effort that the Oreen legendary was?
Oh, we've
No.
researched tickets. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, no, they are not to me. Like, I think the Oreen base weapon is more cosmetically pleasing and beautiful and feels more indicative of her as a dragon and an entity. But if I'm just looking at these as just an optional reskin that's a fun bonus different version, then I'm like, these are so good. I love them. Ooh, look at that one. The little torch is a ball on the end. Like, I get excited about it.
Nice.
So that's kind of the difference for me. I think these are absolutely great for what they are. But like, I don't know if the amount of resources at this point, as far as I understand, and the gold and everything else would be like, you know what I mean?
I feel like they shouldn't have the requirements of resources. They should only be required to have achievements or collections or
you mentioned that.
story. Because you've already done the work.
Yeah, I don't mind a little bit of extra, like a little bit of extra farming for a little bit of stuff. Like a little bit of extra stuff in combination with story, but I just genuinely the reason why I was really I was partly invested in doing this was because of the fact that it was going to go back to war. I was just thought that was a cool. We've been talking on this podcast for so long about different ways that they can get us engaged in the core game again, or in other parts of the game. That's what many MMOs have the problem with. Like, endgame is the aim for everyone. If you talk to anyone, the only way they're going to invest in an MMORPG most of the time is the endgame good? That's the immediate question. With any game that is coming out right now, you got Ashes, right? You got other games, MMOs which are on the horizon. The thing is, and this is just honest. Like, this is what a lot of people do ask. A lot of it is hardcore MMO players, or whatever you want to say. Is the end game good? Because like, an MMO is not just for Christmas. Let's be honest here. It really is not. And even if you aren't focused on that end game, the end game is a symbol of the longevity of that MMORPG. Because it's not it's whether or not people stay. Like, if people stay at the end game, there's still a population of people playing the game, getting excited about it, content being created about it, and infused an enthusiasm for it in community, on YouTube, on Twitter, wherever. That's really, really important. But like, the age-old problem is, how do we get people to re-engage in old content so we can either recycle it so people have something more to do in old maps, so when new players come through they don't see a dead game, basically, which is what most MMOs massively fail at. Or like to keep the end game so engaging that people don't mind the bit before so they can get to it. Final Fantasy 14. Sorry, that was just a cheap joke. I know it's better now.
Wow.
Did you like that? I thought it was good. I don't mean that.
No, it was well done.
But like, that was just like the typical thing that everyone would always say. You get through it to the end. But I know they've changed that, and I do appreciate the game. I play it myself. And I just think like they need to keep doing that, and like using these convoluted weird systems that just separate you even more from like just enjoying the game. Just enjoying the damn thing is just something, and it's this practice of wanting to keep you in the thing that I really hate. This is a strong feeling I have. I hate it. I hate time sinks. I hate this shit where you have to wait another 2 months to do this thing because because that's just the way it is. There is no reason. There is just the reason is predatory. It's to keep you playing a thing, and it's to make you want to come back because it just feels predatory. It just feels bad. It just feels bad to me. And I hate shit like that, man. And like with this specifically, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. It's made me think about other games that so I'm just getting angry. But like, and I'm thinking about now Diablo Immortal, which I'm playing on Sunday. Wow, I'm gonna have some feelings about that. But like, it just feels sucky. Like I love Guild Wars 2 with a passion. Like like we all do, but like it's changed all of our lives in very, very different ways. And I'm the reason I live in America is because of the game. It's literally is. I met my ex-wife through it. I came to America, all this stuff. So when shit like this happens in the game that I love, I really get upset about it. I get sad because like it feels like a reflection on me. Like I'm still engaging in something which I feel like is fairly shitty experience. Why am I engaging in this? So I just stop now. I'm just at that age where I just stop.
I mean,
yeah, but like it feels kind of silly to say that as well at the same time, you know, because it's just a game, and that's what it is. But I know
we've been playing it for what, almost 10 years.
Yeah.
We've all, and with how amazing the community is, we basically created small little families with each other, and I feel like that's really, really important with like the way that the game is built, is that everyone is friendly or is forced to be friendly with each other in order to get stuff done. So I feel like we also have a connection with that too, just because we have so many good friends and so many good like family members in this game. So
it is true. That's true.
I have to say that I think that we are it's been drilled into us to not prioritize our personal happiness. And I think the things that we spend time on, be it gaming, reading books, being creative, just for us, just for our experience, for our happiness, for our lives, there's nothing more important than that. You're not going to be on your deathbed like, oh, I wish I'd worked 17 more 12-hour shifts. Or you'd be like, I wish I'd grinded out. No, you what you want.
I wish I'd gone and did this 10,000 research notes.
Yeah. Exactly, which is why.
Those darn research notes.
Yeah. I wish I'd ever figured out what research notes were.
Yeah.
I need to go back and watch that video we did 50 years ago.
Yeah, no. So
80.
exactly. So people being invested in the communities that they've built, which are made of real people, and the experiences that we have, which are real experiences.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
There is nothing more important than our happiness and our connection with the world and our connection with one another. Everything else, really everything else beyond the necessities, is bullshit. Some weird social kabuki theater that we've all somehow signed up to before we were even born. I'm like, why? This is stupid. Jubilee being fucking a prime example of that.
No. I have to do it since Kroof isn't here, but literally the entire time that you've been talking, I have just been seeing Kroof on their camera like...
Yeah, I know, right? I keep getting those moments. Yeah. I keep thinking about that. It's funny.
But no.
Okay.
I personally, can I tell you how I feel about that?
Yeah, absolutely. You asked the question, which spawned an hour conversation. we're in it now. So.
Woohoo! I'm good
sorry
for
that this is still
I'll
going.
I'll get invited back.
we have been going for a while. Go on.
So I love Lovecraftian mythology. The guy was a fucking train wreck, but the world that he created is fantastic, and the fantasies that are spun off. And he was actually quite a generous writer. He actually opened up his work to other writers contemporaneously. One of the best videos I ever made on my channel is about Lovecraft and about the Lovecraft influence that I was hoping that was going to come in, that was kind of teased in the fluffing video that we got for the Icebrute Saga, right?
Yeah.
And the Lovecraftian darkness that they were falling to in the water. And I'm hoping that this darkness Hujamawala that they've introduced into the game is going to fulfill that. Hujamawala, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And these weapons for me. So if you watch nothing else of mine, watch the Lovecraftian video. That's one of my best ones.
And the fashion.
But
videos.
these.
And the fashion videos.
I don't do fashion videos. That's a lie. Anyway, so...
What are you talking about? That's why I'm there. Sorry, continue.
Jesus Christ, just to kill myself now. No, so these
you make them. It's not my fault.
This is true. I do.
You literally spend time on them, and they're well edited. Like these are really good videos.
I don't know. I feel like they're fluff. I mean, I enjoy making them, but I feel like they're fluff. I don't know. Anyway, that's my personal hang-ups aside. I feel like these weapons, they kind of give me that Lady Gaga meat dress kind of feel, and I'm just, it's just not. You do see it? Yeah.
I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, thank you.
I just am.
Yeah.
Who else would have said that?
I do agree with Lovecraftian stuff, because I also had the thought that it would be really cool if we could have the really dark, like, storyline. I feel like we could definitely still go down that pathway, because we still don't know what happens with the lady in the fractal in Sunqua. We don't know what's going on with that. But I feel like we could definitely still go down that route, and I hope we do, because I really want to learn more about like the demons in the game. Like, we don't know much about that. And like the darkness of a lot of the story that we still haven't seen. So I really hope that we go down that storyline.
Well, if you think about it, so we all thought that the deep sea dragon was the menace that had driven the Quaggan and the Crate out of their homelands, but it isn't. It isn't that. So what is it? What is that darkness? And I'm hoping they explore that. And so I kind of feel bad for the Zhaitan weapons. I was hoping for more of that elder dragon menace from them. And like you said, like when you unwield it, rather than having the splash, which is more like Aurene with her like prismatic aura, you could have the dragon heads like coming out of the ground and like framing over either shoulder, you know, the snapping heads. That would be great. And I think if they're asking you to, on top of a massive commitment of time and resources to craft an Aurene legendary, to then ask you to commit a whole cornucopia of more resources to it, they need to give you something. But here's how I look at the Aurene legendary weapons. They are an apology for the fact that in Heart of Thorns, they messed up their legendary pipeline. And people were not getting the legendaries in the time frame and the scale that they thought they were going to. Now, I think they were well worth the wait, the Generation 2. I really like them. I think they're lovely. A lot of them are heavily linked into story. And I was happy to wait. I wasn't bitching about that. But I feel like these Aurene, the Aurene legendaries are we're sorry community, have these, and then have these variants as well, so that you know that we deliver on our promises and we know that we messed up in the past, but here, have this. And I think they really need to take out the resources and just let people have the joy of the story of changing them into whatever look they want. Because if you have to do this for every single weapon that you craft, for every single variant, it is going to be prohibitive for no other benefit other than I
don't know if you have to
different.
do the tickets for that, for the research notes for each one. I actually don't know that.
I believe it's 10K per.
If it is, then I'm going to actually get mad.
That is what I had heard, and the feedback that I saw, that it was 10K per, not 10K for the entire cosmetic look.
Don't tell me that.
They'd have to come to my house and walk my dog for me for that. I mean,
and
make me breakfast for a month.
They would have to go and do my grocery shopping and laundry.
And like, this is the thing though, because this is the difference, right? If these legendaries had, like you were saying, right? Just like you were saying, Fornax, if like, gosh, I don't know, you had the shield, and when you had the shield on your back, like, the two of the serpentine heads would like rise from it and like hover, and then when you took it off they would kind of like compact, but you'd see their eyes sort of open up. If like they had stuff like that, if they'd had really distinctive unique things, then I probably would have been like, oh okay, 10K each, fine. But it's the difference here, right? Because I think this feels to me like, obviously they were designing with all of these different dragons in mind, and props to the artists, because really I think these are beautiful weapons, and I do like a lot of the work and the concept in this, right? But like, I can't tell how much they designed these specifically for Aurene as a template and then kind of slap everybody else on top, or, you know, vice versa. So the difference to me is the difference in those notes. Like, if the Aurene set looked this way and it had a big goal and you had to do a whole bunch of stuff, great. And then the other ones can just be kind of spin off, yeah, sure. You might want different colors. You might want a different look. You might not want rainbow sparkles. You're wrong, but you might not want them. So, like, fine. Then, you unlock the other ones, fine. But if, like, each one was its own distinctive, iconic set, I'm like, all right, you're going to make me do a whole lot for each of these. Fine.
Yeah.
I do want to say something. They all look amazing, and I've seen, like, the concept art for it, but I feel like they should definitely make it make the cost for it be equal to what, like, I feel like they shouldn't cost anything. I feel they should just be like story and achievements and stuff like that, but
Yeah,
that's just me.
I agree with you 100%. We are clearly correct, and they need to change the course.
Yes.
Let's not hold our breath, though. Right.
Maybe if they don't change it for this one, let's hope they change it for the future ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to end it there. I think that's a good time. I think we've got. I started quite late, and we've already. I know it's later for peeps, and dinner is a thing, and like sleep as well for some people.
That's true.
It's midnight here. Yeah.
When do you go to bed normally, Fornex?
I'm not telling you. That's private information.
That is private information. Wow.
Fornex.
Cock blocked.
Fornex, I've had something I've actually always wanted to ask you. What time do you usually go to bed?
What is your knee routine?
No, I was hoping you would deny Jeb and then immediately be like, "Oh yeah, it's 1 a.m. Rook."
Yeah.
Honestly, I am the least consistent person in. So it depends. It depends what I'm doing. It depends what I'm doing. Like I watched all of Stranger Things the new season in a go. I just did not stop.
Oh my God.
I was voracious. So yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're enjoying yourself.
That's so good. Obi-Wan, not good. Not good. Not good. No.
Don't say that. I don't know.
I haven't watched it yet.
Everyone.
It's
okay.
sad.
All right.
No, sad.
You and McGregor
don't even say
does his
words
best.
now.
You and McGregor
How
does his
dare
best.
you?
But there's only so much lipstick you can put on a pig. That's what I'm going to say.
How dare you? Sad.
All right.
We're going.
I feel like we really covered.
Fornex is
everything.
fine.
Aw, congratulations, Fornex.
That means
Thank you.
Okay. Malcolmist, thank you very much for coming on. Tell us what you do, where you do it. Before we go, please. Hop. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's been great having you. Thank you for coming on. Awesome guest. Tell us what you do, where you do it. Sorry, I did say that in there, didn't I?
I didn't hear it.
Okay, I was in maybe. That was in the like.
I'm also sleep deprived, so.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm everything deprived right now, other than dumbassery. Continue.
So, ask it again.
Rook's like, I don't have tears anymore.
Like James, when you're just like, "Hey, Marcus, so tell us where you up." Poor Malcolmist over here, first podcast ever done.
Sorry.
Just like,
Hey, I had fun. I loved it.
I don't know anymore. It's the 51. It's the 51st. It's just a 51 episode. It's the 51st episode. It's been many hours. Go to twitch.tv/Malcolmist. Are any underscores there?
No, just one word.
Just one
And her
word.
commissions are open.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
send
Commissions
her
open.
money. Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
get a commission first, but then yeah.
Yeah. They've made
I mean, you could-
made an
you
emote
could
for me
if
and
you
stuff.
wanted to, but if you want a commission,
No, you can donate. Go to their channel.
Yeah.
When they're streaming. Are you streaming tonight?
should be. It'll be Sea of Thieves later.
Ooh.
What?
Oh, there's a
Yeah.
new expansion out thing,
You
isn't there?
didn't tell me
think
you
so,
played
yeah.
Sea of Thieves
Jeb, are you coming?
tonight. Ooh,
No,
maybe.
we started playing weekly like 2 weeks ago because I found out that like 10 people out of my community play, so we all just got
Yeah.
together on Friday nights and started playing. So
Yeah,
it's a weekly thing
I
now.
will join. Like, yeah, I would totally be up for that. I was actually thinking about asking Rook and some peeps to do that because I think it would be
nice.
hilarious.
That would be awesome. Yeah, we do ours on Fridays at midnight. So
Wait. What was that from Rook?
Nothing. Yes, I'll be there.
Then you're coming. No, it is just a hilarious game. I'm a pirate legend in that, and it's like, yeah, it's nice. Knew it start talking.
if you guys play, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be hilarious. It's such a funny game.
It is. It's
Also,
great.
yes, Commission Alchemist, amazing art. Get some art of it.
Yes.
Celebrate 10 years of Guild Wars 2. Do it.
Rookery is next. Tell us what you do, where you do it, and oh.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rookery. Was that good, Jebro? Did you feel like I answered all your questions?
There was one you didn't, but it's okay.
Oh, sure. Okay, you can find me at Twitch, twitch.tv, Rookery, Rookuri. You can also find me on YouTube, Rookery as well. End of Dragons playthrough is going up. I realize it is several months after End of Dragons came out, but this is the pace I release at, so please enjoy it. Please watch it, I beg you. But there's also other videos and stuff there too, so enjoy. And then on Twitter, it's also Rookery, but with an underscore. So pretty much everywhere, Rookery, Discord included. And yes, we love playing games. And I have to say this, because I'll be sad if I don't. Malcolmist, you have the cutest laugh ever. I love your giggle. It brings me so much joy. It's so good. And also,
now you're just gonna make me blush.
Oh, this is good.
Fornax, earlier we were teasing you about sassing, but I also love your sass and I thrive off of it. So please never change.
I'm too old to, so it's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's it's true. Thank you very much, Rick, for being here as well. Last but certainly not least, the SAS Master themselves, the Crichton Herald. Please tell us what you do, where you do it, and also what time you go to bed.
Tell us.
So, oh my god. No. So I make content on YouTube. I tweet a lot of stuff as well. And I'm currently looking for a new D&D group. I've got one D&D group going, and I'm looking for another one. I'm not super experienced, but please DM me, okay? I'm looking for D&D, possibly Lovecraftian.
Amazing.
I want to play D&D with you. That'd be amazing.
I love D&D.
Actually,
oh.
okay, this is no, I won't talk about it now. This is future plans. This is future plans.
Are you teasing me?
Super secret.
Well, I had a plan a long time ago about doing a Guild Wars 2 themed D&D campaign and stuff, but it would mean me learning how to do certain things. So Rita is going to teach me how to be a D&D master, or I'll just get them to do it.
Okay, no, first of all, Deborah, first of all, it's not a D&D master, it'd be a dungeon master.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's how like not a favorite thing with things I am. That's I've played it like twice. I would love to do the things, but I've just never had time to get involved with it. So I'd like to. I think it would be cool to do it in the Guild Wars 2 universe.
Yeah.
Okay, so D&D Beyond has a homebrew kit so you can customize it. A friend of mine, one of my dungeon masters, Cubs, he did a Final Fantasy themed dungeon all about Uldar, which was absolutely baller. So yes.
Did you say baller?
Baller.
Weird.
I'm
That sounds weird coming from you.
Sorry,
You're not American.
It was spiffing. It was top notch.
It was baller, I say. Baller.
It was the dog bollocks. Yeah.
Such a weird thing for you to like your character saying baller as well, and then the dog's bollocks was gold. Okay.
Bollocks, cock monster.
Okay, no. Shit. My neighbours have had to hear me talk for 4 hours straight. I think I should end the stream.
Okay, that's it. D&D, hit me up. Bye-bye. Okay.
I like how it was like sell yourself, and it was like also literally sell yourself for like a D&D game. It's like I'm looking for a bike, everyone. I wanted to have 24 gears, really good at uphill, and also like good tread on those tires and the spare one. If that's possible. Great brakes. Okay.
I am prioritizing my mental health. I need
No, that's good. I encourage you to do so. Also,
one last thing. Since we started it, we have to end the episode with a happy Pride, everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
happy Pride, everybody.
Awesome. Yes, please remember it is Pride Month. And if it's something you don't agree with, whatever, then just shut up and enjoy it. I don't care.
Let's all be gay as fuck. Yay!
Yeah. There.
Okay. We will see you. I'm not 100% sure about next week because I do have graduation shenanigans all week. So we will see if it is going to be one. It will be a short one, and it will have to be because I have to be somewhere at 5:30. But we'll see. I'll update everyone, or just change the day. I do crimes.
That's what chat. Sorry, I'll shut the fuck up. Sorry.
You guys do crimes. Oh, okay.
Have you never heard that? That's the thing. That's the saying.
Yes. Do it. Right now.
Wait.
Don't get
I'm
caught.
not okay.
I'm confused by that statement. I'm not entirely sure.
It's a bit of a rallying cry in the community. I actually don't know exactly where it started, but
The LightBringers Guild Wars 2 podcast is done. See you later. Episode 51. Thank you to our guests who are awesome. I have had a great time and I have missed this. I didn't have it for a week and I'm very much missed it. I've laughed my ass off today. I'm tired. I'm ready to take a nap. But I'm going to go grocery shopping and stuff. So, because I need food. All right then. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
I'm going to go and raid someone.
Thanks
We'll
for
see you
having me.
soon. Thanks so much. Also, twitch.tv/JebroUnity, JebroUnity on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the things. Please support the channel.
OnlyFans.
Massive.
Yeah.
Only knees. I have an only knees. And appreciate it. If you want to support the podcast, do it. Send money to all of these people for doing one of the things they do.
Yes.
All of them. All right. Thanks. Just got tired for a second. This has been episode 51 of the LightBringers podcast. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back in 1 week or at the very least in 2 weeks' time. See you soon. Bye-bye.